What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 28. And the crew is finally back. It's we're all together. We got all four
The
members
boys are back.
Here.
holding it down,
Woo.
man. It's feels good, man. It feels good. The three-man podcast was good. And I'm not gonna deny it, right?
It was kind of a cursed cast, though.
Yeah,
I
That
was
is
about to
it was-
say some.
that
Have
Unf-
COVID anymore, so that's
true.
that's
that is
that's always good.
Yeah, we're
so
on
I
the
guess
up
a good
now.
thing.
Yeah,
But it was God. I mean, it was plagued with technical issues
Yeah.
between Scruffy's camera, my internet jacking up and going out at the end of it. In fact, just as a precaution, I actually reset my internet coming into this. I was like, fuck it,
it's a good idea.
reset my internet. Dumping
And
all the
I literally had the plague, so
yeah. Not
Not the
streamer,
nemesis.
but
Yeah, no.
yeah, like the actual plague.
But welcome in everybody. Like I said, it's episode 28. Whether you're listening to it as less listening, fuck man. All right.
Restart.
Whether you are listening to us live when inside of my channel over on YouTube, whether you're on Scruffy's channel on Twitch or Bill's channel on Twitch, or you're listening to us after the fact on our own YouTube channel, which you can do !podcast, and that will get you a link to that, or on Spotify. Welcome in. We're happy to be back and kind of get things flowing. We've got a decent sized show tonight. I think that there's quite a bit to talk about, and we're excited. But it's always, like I said, we're happy to have everybody back and kind of go through everything. And again, if you are live, we have all the chats up so we're able to participate and be able to watch exactly what's going on and be able to, you guys are able to interact with our channel and whatnot. But one of the things that we wanted to do before the show, we got too deep into it or anything like that, is we do want to send our heart, our thoughts and our sympathy and well wishes, and our heart goes out to everybody that is affected by the stuff that's going on in Texas right now. If you're not aware, there was a pretty bad, it's not even pretty bad. It was a really bad accident that affected a lot of people, and they're still dealing with it down there in Fort Worth. So if you or anybody else that was affected, or just people that were, affected by it, like I said, s- sorry, and like I said, we send our best wishes and for you and the family and everybody else out there. So yeah. Um, so with that, kick off the show and kind of talk about everything that's been going on. It's been a kind of a quiet week, or last 2 weeks, realistically, for some news. Like there's been some stuff that's come out. We've had some talk of expansions, and we've got buyouts and whatever else.
It's
But
been slow for
what?
Twitch.
I gotta say, we've had 28 episodes straight, well, 27 episodes straight of Twitch drama, and I think this is the first week we don't have Twitch drama.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Did they break their spell? Like,
No.
No-
wait,
nothing
I
really
think we've
notable.
had one before. I think we've had one prior.
what?
It might have
Let
been
me-
one, but I think we still had something to talk about. I think I remember
Yeah.
that.
Let me ask: is it because of me? Is it because I left? I took all the drama with me. Is that what it was? Is
Might
that
be.
how that-
Take
We're gonna
it,
have
man.
all the YouTube drama now.
Yeah. Well, hey, whatever. But I'm sure Twitch will, come up with something, whether it be, right after this or not. But to be honest, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like, as much as we dog on Twitch, like,
We dog on it because we want better for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, you know, so, but there is some, at least it's not Twitch news, but it's Amazon news. Like Jeff Bezos steps down as CEO. Like, I mean, I don't know. Does anybody
Which
know
is wild.
yeah, like the full the details of like why he stepped down?
He,
Did he just,
well,
like,
he did
much
state that
money?
he wants to put more of his time and
Paid
money
too much
into
money, man.
space exploration. So he's kind of pulling an Elon Musk there.
So he got pissed off because Elon Musk trumped
Yeah.
him for money, and so now he's not the richest man in the world. So he's like, I gotta do whatever
I
Elon's
guess so.
doing.
Yeah.
So he's gonna invest in Dogecoin. Get
Is
that
Elon officially the richest?
Yeah, Elon is officially the richest man in the world.
That's nuts.
World. I thought it was just US.
No,
World.
in the
That's
world.
crazy.
Yeah.
And he got dogged out because he said something about like donating to charities or whatever else, and people tried to like I don't know if they tried to cancel him or per se, but they just like jumped his case because they're like, oh, it must be nice to be able to give, have to wonder what charity you're going to give to. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what is the world coming to? Where
You
we
know, it's crazy that the richest man in the world sends memes and shit on Twitter about
And
I
just
love
Dogecoin
and
and all
is
that,
taking Dogecoin to the
and
moon.
game
Yeah.
stonk. Like,
uh
awesome.
yeah. And we talked about
Yeah.
that last week, or last episode about like the stocks and stuff like that. And we'll
Yeah.
reiterate it here. Please be careful in what you're doing and investing. Like just because you see meme stocks, just because you see Elon Musk out there, tweeting about Dogecoin, or now these rappers and all of these celebrities are trying to get behind Dogecoin or whatever else. Like, I'm not saying don't invest in it. Obviously, we're not financial advisors. We cannot give you financial advice, but what I can tell you is I can at least give you life advice. And yeah, I mean, sure, take it to the moon, but also be smart. Like, don't invest money that you don't have.
Exactly.
And
Do your
also
research.
know when you're going to get out, because the
Yeah.
thing about cryptocurrency that is dangerous, is more dangerous than anything else, is that it is this just kind of mythical thing, right? Like it's obviously physical, but at the same time, it's in a way not. Like Dogecoin was just someone decided to invent a cryptocurrency, right? And then because Elon Musk got behind it, Dogecoin started to go, through the roof.
Dogecoin's been around for a while too. It's been around for like 2-3 years, and
Right.
it's just now taking off because Elon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's my thing. Just be careful with what you're doing. Like if you're in it to try to get rich quick, that's not what it's about. Like please do your homework and understand what you're doing with it.
You know,
But
something that I
Any
actually thought
any of y'all
was
in it right now?
no,
no,
no, I'm not. I
no,
haven't
I
gotten
don't.
it.
Are you anybody? So a counter to that. Are you in it? Do you have
Yeah,
Dogecoin?
I don't have Dogecoin specifically, but I am in crypto. Just a little bit, just dipping my toes, seeing what
I mean,
happens. I don't want
crypt-
to.
the crypto getting into what I will say about the stock market, right? And again,
Fuck stocks.
disclaimering, right, is that we are not a financial podcast. We are not a financial advisor.
Disclaimering isn't a word. by the way.
Whatever. Neither
Disclaiming.
is Dogecoin, but
Yes.
um, but disclaimer for Enigma and his fucking English, degree. Um, we we cannot you cannot hold us responsible for any kind of things that we say. What else, about it though? Cryptocurrency is a good way to start with stocks and getting your feet wet, because they trade for point zero zero, or they can start at like 0.001
Some,
of a
yeah.
cent. You know what I mean? Like now, obviously, Dogecoin I think is up to $1. Or no,
Yeah,
is it $1 now?
they're trying to get to the dollar. Last I checked, it was like 63 cents,
Yeah.
which is, considering last week it was sitting around like 17. It's
Yeah.
went up quite a
Funny.
bit.
Yeah.
Funny story about it. A younger Enigma.
Uh huh.
I was actually about to buy about 30 or 40 bitcoins back in like 2000 and
Back
it
when
was like
Bitcoin was like,
18, I think. When it
how
was
much
like
was
when it
Bitcoin
was
back
like
then?
40 cents or some shit like that.
Yeah, man,
I
you
should have,
fucked
dude.
up.
I fucked
Damn.
up, dude. I could
Well,
have
I mean,
been a millionaire.
that's the thing, is it's always one of those situations where it's
Well,
shoulda,
the worst,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, the worst part about it is just how much it fluctuated back then, right? Like
Yeah.
it would be like upwards of the $30 range, and then it would drop down to like 2 cents. It was so
You,
fuck.
Yeah.
It
if you were
fluctuated
day
so fucking
trading,
much.
if you were one of the OG day traders, you set yourself up real nice for
Yeah.
like the present day, because you could
Oh,
have
yeah.
like, yeah. It's
I
it's
don't
wild.
I
I
don't
didn't
get
I
into
didn't even know
trading
what
much.
Bitcoin was until like 7 years ago.
No.
Well, Bitcoin doesn't know what Bitcoin is.
So-
Still to this day, they don't understand.
I still don't understand it, man. Like
I mean,
that's why I didn't buy, was because I was talking to the guy that was like talking to me about it, and I'm like, I don't understand what it is, and I do like fucking internet shit. Like
well, here
it makes no sense.
the crazy thing about it is there's two sides at least to this Dogecoin, and just this whole like Bitcoin stance and where everyone's at with it, at least trading, right? Um, one is you have the side of people that own Bitcoin, right? And like Elon that want to take this to the moon, and whether they're doing it for memes or not. Like obviously Elon, I think he thinks Bitcoin is, or cryptocurrency is, the way of the future. And I understand it. I understand the whole idea between blockchains and getting money out of the hands of big banks and putting it into the community and out into the world and whatever else. I understand it. So he's making money, like and obviously he has a shit ton of money in Doge, right? And so the higher it goes, the more money he
He
makes.
didn't. He
He
didn't
just
put.
he came out and bought stock. in Doge.
I know he bought Bitcoin. I didn't know it was Doge specifically.
Yeah, no, he bought.
Okay.
He just came out. It was
Because I
before
know when
Sunday. I think it was Saturday.
I know he bought like 40 grand worth of like Bitcoin prior to it like shooting up.
yeah,
he bought.
he invested like $18 billion of Tesla money into Bitcoin specifically, but I
Yeah.
didn't know how much he
He-
was personally putting his own money into Doge.
So he owns a amount of Dogecoin as well. But the thing about the thing about trading and all that kind of stuff is right. You have to also be very careful. We're not going to go into like the whole like I forgot what the fuck it's called, stock manipulation. But anyway, so the two sides, right, that you can see on Twitter and you see warring right now are people saying that oh, this is great, get into it, raise the money, raise the price of it, raise the value of it, whatever else, and that's great. And you're trying to make money. Then you've got the other side, which are the investment leaders, investment officials, people that understand it and ride and ride the stock market and look at it and analyze it and all this other kind of stuff that supposedly have these degrees, quote unquote, and there are financial advisors that are telling you absolutely not, absolutely not, absolutely not, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Well, here's the problem. The reality for the middleman person, and most of the people that are in here in chat that I can see that are saying like, oh, I don't understand it, I'm not going to do it, or whatever else, and like we're talking about it, the problem with it is that if you listen to the quote unquote experts, they're going to tell you not to do it because it threatens everything that they are doing. Like the fact that you have something that is not controlled realistically by stocks or by the quote unquote free market, it's not controlled by an actual physical good. It really threatens what they're doing. So them saying you don't do this, don't do this, don't do this is not because they want to protect you. It's because they want to protect themselves and their underlining pockets, right? And then you've got Elon over here that's like, take it to the fucking moon. And obviously he wants, to make money. And I do, if there's one person in all of this and everything that I trust, for whatever reason, it is Elon Musk, because I really think that he just is there for the betterment of the fucking world. He doesn't really give a damn what he has to do.
I don't
Whatnot.
trust Elon Musk. He's a fucking alien.
No, he's
He is
100%
an
alien. That's why I
alien.
trust
He's a
him.
fucking
That's why
Anunnaki
that is
from
why
Mars,
that is why I trust him.
and his
So,
wife is from Venus or some shit. Like,
yeah, that is why I trust him. So, but anyway, if it is true, getting back to the topic of that Jeff Bezos actually stepped down and because he wants to do SpaceX or space travel stuff, like he's
I
chasing
just
Elon.
Yeah.
I just looked at something on him too. Like Amazon, he was saying that he's gonna continue helping Amazon through it, right? But like he made a shit ton of money in 2020, dude. They're saying
Oh,
that
of
he
course
had
he did.
37% of sales drove up from the company, making them over three almost 400 billion last year just for Amazon.
Yeah, homeboy made a
Yep.
lot of money. He's not hurting for cash. Let's just make sure
Yep.
that's known. He has more money than he could ever do in 7
And
lifetimes. Like,
according to this, he is the second most wealthiest person in the world,
yep,
underneath fucking alien
Elon.
Elon.
yep, Elon.
Yep.
Elon with his alien money.
A little fun fact that I learned about Bitcoins is actually with Escape from Tarkov, the Bitcoin in Escape from Tarkov fluctuates with the real life Bitcoin. Like
Really?
the amount that it sells for in
That
Tarkov fluctuates with real life stock market.
That's crazy.
that gets into
That's kinda cool.
the creepy side of like
So that's where you can
cryptocurrency.
practice your
Yeah.
crypto trading, guys.
Exactly.
Practice in Tarkov.
Well, dude, Eve has been that forever. Like Eve has been a fucking social experiment of stock trading and marketing and whatever else and manipulation for
Yeah.
decades. So, but yeah. So anyway, so that's going on. I don't, like I said, I don't know. There's no YouTube drama. There's no Twitch drama other than, like I said, Jeff Bezos decided to step down. So congratulations to those two platforms and for not having drama this week.
Congratulations.
Yay!
All right, so we are switching things up. Normally we go and talk about games that we've played at the end of the show, but then it's kind of like a rush. We actually wanted to move this to our second topic, so that way we have a good amount of time to be able to talk about all the things that we've been playing, and
And then we can get to the
engaging with,
nitty gritty at the end.
and then we
Yeah.
can go and burn through all the news and things of that nature. Yeah, we'll kick off with I think something where this is a time where Enigma and Scruffy, if you want to take a nap or you want to go, I don't know, play Minecraft
I'm
or
gonna go and grab
I want to go play some
grab a
Minecraft.
soda.
yeah, go do whatever else you need to do.
be
Me
back.
and Bill can talk about
I
DVD.
legitimately will be back. So
Okay, well,
Okay.
I don't care. We can't see you anyway. You could be buck ass naked.
Oh,
I
he
am,
is. Yeah,
actually,
don't question that. He
I've
is.
already admitted it. I'm always naked.
Um, So DBD. You know, normally we wouldn't talk about updates that come out to games, in particular like this, when especially when they're mid chapter or they are, a smaller, update or whatnot. Because Dead by Daylight has updates all the time. This was
Right,
actually
but
very.
this one,
This was a very big update, um, in a lot of ways, and it changed a lot of
yeah,
things
yeah,
for the good and for the bad. Um,
right. So
uh,
what
yeah.
Dead by Daylight is kind of doing right now is, from my understanding at least, they're wanting to forego like making a Dead by Daylight 2. So they're basically just completely overhauling and upgrading the entirety of the Dead by Daylight system and game for like next generation type stuff. And that has come with map updates. And the most recent patch, which is what we're going to be talking about, has been an complete overhaul of the UI and a complete overhaul of the actual character mechanics and character models, how they move, how they look, or not look, but like how they interact with each other. Um, Completely different animations for almost every playable character in the game. And like I said, overall UI complete overhaul with that as well. And like he said, some of it's really, really good.
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
you have Freddy that can snipe you through Killer Shack across the map.
How
Yeah,
exactly does he snipe you?
Because
his
he's
hitbox is
broken as
horrible.
fuck.
So yeah, it's not even just him. So there's several things that are going on. So let's talk about the good before we kind of get into like the rough, right?
Yeah.
So one, they did an update to a killer that I've actually is one of my favorite killers to play as. And I think drastically needed an update. I don't know how I feel necessarily about this
Talking about
update.
Clown?
Yeah, clown. Yep.
Hell yeah. It's real good. It
Yeah.
is real good.
I like it, but I wanted something. They didn't really. Okay, to me, the update that they did to Clown wasn't like a rework, right? Which I guess that makes sense. It's not really. I don't think they were really going for this whole like rework idea. Like, essentially, he's the same Clown, just he has an added ability with his toxins now, where he can trigger one that will allow people to move faster. Instead of just the one where he would throw it and they would be slowed or whatnot, and they would scream and be blurred vision. Um,
I think it's perfect personally.
I think it's good. Don't get me wrong. What I wanted to see was I was hoping for something more along the lines of being able to like something completely different, right? What I was hoping for something where he would be able to go and have these like almost like balloons that would be able to pop and
You wanted some
uh,
Pennywise stuff.
kind of like, but they so the original concept that I actually pitched to people at Dead by Daylight through my work and over at Behavior, I was like, hey, I think it would be a really cool idea of like if they were on generators, there was a skill check that kind of happened like a doctor, but it wasn't all over the place. But if a skill check failed, then it would start releasing a toxin out on the ground, right? And basically that toxin would linger there for a short amount of time, roughly kind of like the plague or whatever else. But it basically released toxin or his like toxic gas. Obviously, the people would scream when they're right there, so it would kind of give him a little bit of map control and map awareness versus just his chase mechanics. And then also too, I thought it would be really cool for him to be able to have like dummies of him or the balloons kind of around, where again, it gives you skill checks, it gives you and bonuses, and if something messed up, then the balloon would pop, and obviously toxic gas would go
I
around.
think that's all well and fine, but I think any killer that's core gameplay loop is based around the survivors making mistakes is going to be inherently flawed, because at least in like upper tiers of play, people don't tend to miss skill checks very often. And so having somebody's kit completely built around that, I feel, would be a little bit of wasted potential, because it would almost never get used. Unless they kept like the bottle system like he has currently with his chase, but I just don't think, like, the counterplay is basically playing the game correctly. It's all based on whether your opponent is messing up.
My question
So
is, when they gonna give you fucking pepper spray so you can like like
They have
kill you with
Exactly.
bullets or some shit.
They
Flashlights.
have
I want
flashlights.
A
like a
little
Glock.
They
blindy in
blind
the
them.
eye.
I want
No.
like a fucking Glock that I can just cap a fucking
Exactly.
pop a cap in this motherfucker's ass, man.
See, me and you, Enigma, we get it. You know, we'd be right in there.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna let you guys talk and discuss. I gotta handle.
So what they gave him instead was a mechanic to pretty much speed people up then, right? For like a
Yeah,
second or
so
something?
he's got his bottles still. He still has like the standard you lob it. It makes a gas cover the ground,
Mhm.
and whoever, if like a survivor goes through it, they're slowed, they scream and cough, and their vision is obstructed, so they can't see as well.
Yeah.
But you can also change that to the antidote, which is a different color fog. It's like yellow. And if you throw it and you run through it, or a survivor runs through it, they get like a burst of speed, kind of like that one Meg perk that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's really like, so what they're
So
doing is they're basically just doubling down on the clown's ability to chase. He's always been a chase oriented killer.
yeah.
They're just giving him the ability to do that better. So there's
So I
a
guess
couple
it's
of
kind of
really
intended
unique.
to like throw people off then, like to misstep or something like that. Cause
So you can use it in that regard. So
yeah.
like obviously if you're chasing somebody, you can throw a slow bottle at them and then throw a quick bottle like in front of you away so that
Yeah.
you run through it. You get the speed burst. They're slowed. You hit them easier. But say
Oh, so it
they've got
applies
you
to
in a
you
loop
too?
or whatnot.
It
Hmm?
applies to you too.
The speed,
The
yeah.
speed.
If
Oh,
you
okay.
if you run through the antidote fog, you get the speed boost.
That's kind of cool then.
Yeah, so it works on both parties, so you kind of got to be careful with how you use it. The slow does not affect you whatsoever. It's still the same as it always has been. Um,
So does the
but
speed actually get that much use?
yeah, the speed gets a lot of use. So like you can use it to speed yourself up, obviously, if you see somebody like off in the distance and you're wanting to double down, or even just for like moving around the map in general, you
Yeah.
can use it to like pick yourself
Well,
up.
that's
They
what I'm saying. Does it get that much use like offensively rather than just like as
Yeah,
a
yeah. So they both run off the same bottle, so it's like an ammo system for both. So your slow and your speed are both going to use up your same amount of ammo, and then you'd have to recharge. But say you are looping somebody and they are going to loop and hit a window, okay? You can hit them with the speed boost right before they hit the window, and it can cause them to like, if they're not paying attention, they'll overstep the window
Yeah,
and
that's kind of what
completely
I was
whiff,
thinking.
and then you can get the hit on them. Or say they drop a pallet on you, you get stunned by the pallet, you throw the speed boost at your feet, start kicking the pallet. By the time you're done kicking the pallet, the speed boost will have taken effect, and you can just zoom through that and kind of make up any lost ground that you would have had from getting stunned.
Does it actually speed up any like actions like kicking pallets or dropping floors?
Nah, it only specifically speeds up the movement. So there's some interesting ways that you can use it. I think a lot of the more creative ways involve like causing people to miss windows,
Hmm.
miss pallets, that kind of thing. And I think it's a good system overall. I think it is doubling down on what they envisioned for the clown to begin with, which was to be like the chase based killer, like
Hmm.
specifically. Um, and it keeps his identity the same. They didn't want to change him with his bottles because that was the vision that they had for him to begin with. They're not going to go and change that completely overall. I could honestly see them if this doesn't get like if this doesn't push him up enough where they can like what I'm seeing in chat where it would actually speed up actions. Like if you do a speed bottle, you would like double time kick through
I think that would be cool. You
a
think that would be too much though?
maybe. I could see it. So he's already got this perk called Bamboozle that whenever you walk through a window, it blocks that window off, and he gets a slightly faster vault through a window.
Hmm.
If the speed boost like made it so that he could like just go straight over it really quick, that might be
Hmm.
a little too strong. But yeah, if this doesn't end up getting the intended results with him, I could see like the speed giving him like some increased animation speed on top of it.
I think the kit definitely sounds cool. It because
And then like what they're saying, if say a survivor were to go through a vault through a window, it would also increase their speed through the
right,
window as well.
yeah, like
Anything
it
that they
is. It
give
could,
speed wise to the killer should be applied to the survivors because
it's like a
it's
double-edged
meant
sword,
to be
kind of.
that way. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's immune to his own poison, but the antidote works for
I
everybody.
think his kit definitely envisions what I think of like a clown killer would be. It's just something to mess with people. So I
Yeah,
think that's kind of
and
cool.
Sinan, now that you're back, we had a little conversation about what you brought up with the balloons and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
I
I don't
think
know how much you heard of it,
I
but
think I think that the clown should be able to make
Little balloon
like
animals.
balloon
Yep.
animals and be able to like make a giant balloon dildo to just bitch slap people with.
Jesus Christ, why do we have him on the show? Why?
um, but we were talking about your mechanic is good and all, but it kind of reminds us of the old ruin system, and I feel like any mechanic for a killer that is based around like specifically messing up skill checks or anything like that is in higher tiers of play just not going to be viable because people don't mess up skill checks that much unless it were to reduce the skill check range, and then in that case it would be anti-fun, especially for new players.
I think look at Doctor does it. Doctor's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but
um,
Doctor's anti-fun in different ways, in the fact that his kit has virtually no counterplay and it's just massive AoEs going through things. The skill checks, I think, are the least impactful thing with his kit. But it all lends back to the fact that it's anti-fun. Doctor is anti-fun to play against for a survivor, and I feel like any system that is based like core killer mechanic based anywhere around skill checks specifically is going to end up being anti-fun or weak to the point that it never gets proc. Like in red ranks, you're never going to get a generator proc unless somebody like jumps off of a generator like real quick to go do something and a skill check happens to pop then.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was just a thought.
It,
Or
it
a
was an it
conversation.
was an interesting it's an interesting thing, and I like the idea for balloons. Maybe have him like another trap killer where say he can set up the balloons in like windows or something so that if they jump through it, they have to get slow gassed.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
just
don't
because
know.
right now, like he is a chase killer. He has no map awareness, or map control, which not every killer obviously needs to
No,
have.
and
Right?
there's perks you can
Um,
get that can supplement
yeah. Oh
that.
no, of course. I mean, and I run a lot of those. And again, I'm a fan of Clown. Like I
Yeah,
like Clown. I think Clown is probably. I mean, now he's maybe not as underrated. But before he was definitely an underrated killer.
I agree.
You
I think
know.
he's a lot of fun to play as, and I honestly enjoy playing against a clown. I
Yeah.
haven't played against the new clown specifically, but from everything I've seen, I like the fact that they doubled down on his chase potential. He has really honestly been the only killer that is purely based around his chase, and I like that they are keeping that identity with him.
Keeps
Yeah.
him fit. I know he's a bit chunky.
Oh, he definitely does.
Oh, and
Um,
he's got a new terror radius that is horrifying.
is it smaller?
Literally,
It's carnival themed, so it's
literally
Oh,
like
horrifying.
accordions and shit like that.
Well, don't they have a
oh
carnival
shit.
map now or
Yes,
something?
they just
Exactly,
they
Enigma.
redid that map and it's beautiful, by the way.
I saw
Mhm.
somebody play it. It looked
All
cool.
all of the map reworks that they've done have been amazing, and honestly, I am a huge fan of the UI change. I
Yeah,
think it is
I
very
don't know.
sleek.
There's things about
Uh,
it that I like.
so what do you like about it?
Okay, so I think that I love the portrait animation, the portraits of the survivors. I think that's a huge bonus. I think also to letting having like the tash marks to let you know which hook they're on. I think
Yeah,
is
I
is
agree.
much needed. Um, you know, uh, moving it around, I don't really know the point of
So
that.
the
Like,
so the point was, it was more so for killers than it was for survivors, but there's a lot of information visually that whenever you're playing the game, you need to be paying attention. So specifically with like killers and stuff, red stains on the like blood trails on the ground. If you're a bigger killer, you're going to be looking down much. It just unobstructs that bottom layer of the screen a little bit less so that you're not like distracted by all the other info.
Do they
yeah.
have a
What
totem
was
killer
my
yet?
understanding with it?
Oh, what?
Do they have like a totem killer yet? Like that lays down like turrets or shit.
Uh,
Turrets?
Like totems, like turrets, like the he can like put down.
There's two trap based killers. The trapper, which lays down bear traps, and then the hag, who puts down like runes that she can teleport
See,
to.
Enigma
Yeah,
wants like a sentry gun to place.
No, what I was thinking,
I
I
know.
thought it was I was thinking I was like, it'd be kind of cool if you could put down like one of those stupid fucking monkeys that like clings. and
Well,
make it
so
use it as like an alarm system.
the twins are somewhat like that in the sense that you can put down Victor, which is the little baby.
Yeah,
You can put him down, and then as you can walk around as the sister, and if someone walks past, he will basically kind of alert and let you know
yeah.
that that
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is like one of those monkeys, like I said,
that
that like.
shit's fucking broken as hell
Yeah.
though, to the point where it's
I
like
think
the
it'd be kind of
last
funny.
if you know what you're doing, like to set Victor up in one spot and you're up in another, and basically you can just guard both fucking
Yeah.
exits.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Um,
map control. I've seen you
it,
do that once or twice.
yeah, but I mean, anybody that's smart can get, or not. I don't want to say anybody that's smart, but if you're good enough, you can obviously get around it. There's, I would say I like her kit or the twins kit a lot. But I also there are problems with that, and kind of it's being talked about right now is like, and again, this is all goes into things where behavior, right? Because I don't want to spend too long on it, but behavior, it's like it's not to Destiny's level, right? Destiny level, I think Bungie just likes to kick them square in the nuts because they just did it with an update again. Like they just constantly just kick them fucking over and
I
over
heard
and
this
over
most
again.
recent update was good though.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of shit that the community is just like fucking pissed about, but it's also Destiny. The community is always
I was
pissed.
about to say it's
Yeah,
Destiny.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
When are they not
True.
they
pissed
have a
about
pretty
something?
rage faced community to begin with.
Yeah. So, but
Bungie made them that way, obviously, but
in this one, they just and behavior seems to like listen to. They're like, yep, 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 yep. We hear it, but we're gonna do different, like not different, complete ignore it, but they're like, we're gonna work on it, but right now we're gonna do map stuff. Like it's like they fix one thing and then they break something else, and then when the community tells them about it, they just don't want to. They don't fix it, right? Because there's a lot of problems that are in this. The hitbox issues were something that was in the PTB. People were streaming about it before. The same issues like what you're having here, where so as the twins, Victor, you could actually go and block off exits and block off places by just standing there because it's a person, so she's an immovable object. Whenever, like, once you have Victor, she doesn't move. You can't get around her. You can't push her. So, like, literally, you would block a doorway, right, and just put her on it.
Oh wow.
So and then you could block
Wait,
windows.
I
You
thought
could
you could
block
like
loops.
slam
Like
that
you
little
could
thing.
hide Victor in different places. One of the things that they broke in this is like Michael Myers will get glitched. And I don't know if anybody in Bill's chat has had this happen yet, but Michael Myers will get glitched. I watched this in Toki's stream a couple nights ago, where Myers, if he's stalking, if they go behind a building, then it will glitch and he can still stalk no matter where they're at. So like even if they're in the building, if they're out of plain sight, he can still stalk.
So he pretty much has walls.
Is nuts. What's it?
He pretty much has walls then.
Yeah, he has wall hacks.
Yeah.
So
and
which
with
is
his
crazy.
stalking, it increases his
I
power
watched it.
level.
I watched a
At
nurse.
over 9,000.
I
It
watched a nurse.
does. It does.
I watched a nurse. Um,
You were just losing.
Oh no. Yeah, his YouTube went out. What he was gonna say though is there have been nurses that are like they'll do their teleport thing and then they'll do their lunge at the end of it and their lunge will like go through walls and stuff just like as if they were teleported.
Oh.
He's gone.
No, I see him.
Oh, I don't.
He's leaning.
all this, dude.
He's lounging.
Hey,
right
he's
now.
back. Yeah, you're back. You're back.
You
Get
know
in
what?
here.
God damn it, Elon! Can you fix the internet? Fucking Christ,
It's just
bullshit.
Mans with fiber over here has more internet
ugh.
problems than us.
Like,
Chat's asking if it wasn't just the scratched mirror add-on with Michael
no,
either,
no, 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 no,
correct?
no, no. This was like legitimately. Um, I know what add-on you're talking about. I've seen it run before. No, this was not it. This was like, and she was talking about it. She's like, "What the fuck is this?" Because she was actually playing as Myers and was able to literally see them no matter where they went. I mean, it was like fucking anywhere. As long as they were tracking, she could stalk. She could stalk them anywhere. It
And
So
was
she
nuts.
basically had a free way to 99 her ability if she wanted to.
Yep. She didn't use it, which obviously most people don't, or whatever else. But what I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by my internet was that I watched someone as nurse go and they were being chased by a nurse, and nurse was inside of Killer Shack, and this survivor went out Killer Shack and was cutting the corner, going to the right, and literally the nurse just goes whomp and down. and just downs them. And it's not like there's obviously been connection issues and things like that we've seen before. That was not this. Like it's I don't know. I don't know how they broke it. I don't know what they changed that broke it because like UI would not break these types of things, right?
I mean, they're completely like. I'm assuming they are completely fresh character models. Like, obviously, the models themselves haven't changed, but they had to rework the character models, how they're moving around the map, and that. I'm assuming there's just some like spaghetti arms going on. You
Probably
know
fucking
how in sometimes,
hitboxing.
yeah, you know how sometimes in like action RPGs you'll hit an enemy and its limbs will just start like flailing everywhere.
Yeah, well, I
I'm
do that. I
assuming
do that in normal life. Like when I walk down the stairs, I'm just like,
it's something like that where they just have Mr. Fantastic arms just going out and back in like Michael Jordan at the end of Space Jam, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. It's weird. I don't, and I wish that they, you know, like the one thing I'll give credit to Blizzard for with this is that when they do an update to their thing, like to their systems, right? I mean, essentially, WoW is a fucking 10-year-old game, 11-year-old game that has basically been, they've built upon it, built upon it, built upon it, built upon it. They do a smart job, right? Like they don't go and like just are like, hey, we're gonna do this in small little subsects. Obviously, I understand Blizzard is fucking massive comparable to Behavior Studios, but like in a game like Dead by Daylight, where so much of what that game is depends on things being accurate and being right, and there's a room for jank. Like it's Dead by Daylight. We all understand the jank that's there, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in this game that has ever played this
You
game.
understand, right, Enigma?
I completely understand.
Oh my god. Well, everybody that has played the game understands vaulting through a fucking window and being like, I
It's
Been
made it,
there.
and
inconsistent.
getting down.
Completely been there. It's the
Um,
worst thing in the world, man.
yeah, that's actually why that's how I hurt his back was he vaulted through a
Yeah, it
window.
Yep.
was. I was running from the baby killer,
Yep.
Hmm.
He was just running from a
and
baby. So
yeah,
scary, dude.
and you guys know I hate little kid ghosts and shit.
Oh my
We still
god.
talking
Yeah.
about DBD here? Wait,
I don't know.
I'm lost.
Anyway, but yeah, so I don't know. I just don't know why they screw around with it so much in this. Like, get it down pat, get it right, get it where it needs to be, and then just dump it, right? Make it as a whole versus this like you know
It
where they're
seems
gonna
to
go
me
into
that they need to really fix their priorities and also test stuff more.
And
That's
give us
right.
Glocks.
The game doesn't need I don't think the game needs to be graphically updated right now. Like I think it's great and it looks good and like the
yeah.
animations are fine, but
No.
I think fix the problems that you have
Fix the
and then
bugs. That's the
yeah,
biggest thing. To me, I've seen this game and I always
Well,
have seen bugs. That's all I really see of it, sadly too. But
the issue was that the graphic overhaul broke the game. It's honestly comparable to like some Siege shit back before the new branch of
yeah,
Ubisoft took over, where
Siege had
every
its
patch
fair
was
share
like
of bugs.
breaking the
Yeah.
game worse and worse whenever they added new content. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want them to be like I said, I want it to be better. I just want them to kind of work on some stuff and fix some stuff. But look, the game is still fun to play, like regardless. It is enjoyable. I'm gonna wait until some of this stuff is a little bit ironed out.
It's
Even though I haven't
slightly
even updated.
unplayable right now, depending on how scummy
Yeah,
your killers want to be. If they want to abuse the system, they can make
yeah.
it have
I
a
mean,
real
I
and fun
I
time.
I play killer, so it's not as bad as when I play, playing survivor. But I'm just gonna wait until it's kind of fixed.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
whatnot. Other games that we've been playing, real quick to kind of run through this, but myself and Scruffy have been playing two games.
Mhm.
One of which is Journey to the Savage Land. Um,
Cool
this
game,
game,
dude.
Savage Planet.
It's weird.
Savage
Savage Planet.
Planet,
Yeah.
Savage Planet, yeah.
Savage Planet.
Um,
It's
it's
goofy, man. It's
it's yeah, it's really odd, right? Like it was $20. I think now it's $25.
five, I think.
I
Yeah.
think.
It's
Um,
not part of the New Year sale.
it may be. I
It
don't
may be. I
really
haven't
know.
checked that one.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
speaking
It
of
just
which,
came
guys,
out on PC though.
Steam New Year sale is going on right now up until when?
It is on sale. $17.99.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Oh, so
But
it's
yeah,
actually cheaper than what we paid for it. It's great.
massive Steam sale going on right now. So if you guys don't have, and okay, so now until the 15th. So get your cheap Steam games while you can.
Wait,
Just
how
wanted
much
to
is
let
it?
everybody know that that is a thing going on.
$17.99.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
it's
lot of good sales. You know, open them wallets.
But
Um,
tell me about how savage the planet may be.
Well, I think
okay,
we're the savage ones.
yeah. So the journey, like the journey to the Savage Planet, it is very much in that like vein of Subnautica or
I
um
say it's like a Subnautica meets a No Man's Sky. It's not like
yeah,
as
it's yeah, it's goofy. Like the biggest thing
yeah,
is goofy. There's not a survival element at all. Like there's
no.
not in the sense of like you have to
Remind,
manage food or hunger or
Hmm.
any of that kind of stuff.
reminded me a lot more of that Black Isle Studio or whatever, the fucking, what is it, the one that they came out with to contend with Fallout New Vegas.
Out,
About Outer
Outer
Worlds.
Worlds,
Outer
Obsidian.
Worlds, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
I mean,
Black Isle is what they
it's
used to
got
be
like
called.
the
Oh, okay.
humorish stuff
Yeah,
behind it.
It's got it's got the humor, but it's. I thought it was gonna be like that honestly, but it's a lot more. I don't know, linear in a way. It's
Yeah.
still openish world, but it's not as open world as like those kind of games are.
Yeah. So essentially, what happens here is you're dropped into this planet, and you're sent there by some weird corp, or whatever else. And the commercials are hilarious and whatever else, and they're
Yeah,
fucking bad. Like they're so bad, but they're so good.
they are.
Um,
Is this some like Borderlands style humor?
yes, very like cartoony, in your face, stupid, cheesy.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's on the line of like Rick and Morty style humor,
Yeah,
especially with the ads. If you know anything about the multidimensional TV,
I was about to say
very
interdimensional
similar
cable.
to that. Yeah.
these two sat there for like 5 minutes, literally bitch slapping each other. And
That
throwing
too.
everything
Yeah.
at
The melee is.
yeah, it's great. So anyway, so you're dropped in, and then basically you're like, hey, we got to fix our ship. And while you're doing that, like you've got to go and get these different resources, and you have to scan different things. But
Hmm.
it is very linear in the way of like, hey, you need to go here and go do this, and you got to go over here and go do this, and you have to go here and go do this, right? But it's not to the point where it's like you don't have freedom.
Yeah, you still
Essentially,
have like your secrets and stuff you can find, your little
right.
like Easter eggs and all that sort of stuff. So it's still got like some sense of exploration in it, which is nice.
Yeah. There's just parts that are like sectioned off to where you can't get to if you don't have certain equipment. But at the same time, yeah, we've also been able to get to some places we probably shouldn't have been able to get to without having certain equipment
Yeah,
there
definitely.
as well by like breaking things and stuff like that. There's no terra modding or geomod. There's no terraforming, nothing like that. But it's what I'll tell you is like it's a goofy, stupid, dinky little game to get into, and it's like beautiful. The game is very pretty.
And
Runs
it runs good, dude.
Yeah,
Like
it runs
I don't know
really
why
well.
it got so much hate on Steam. Steam's reviews just always suck, I feel like, but like it runs pretty well. I've only encountered a few bugs here and there, and that's about it.
wasn't it an Epic exclusive for
It
a while?
It was an Epic exclusive.
There you
Why
go.
it's got
yeah.
some shitty reviews.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
So it was an Epic exclusive for a while, and then it came to Steam. And uh, it's I don't know. It's like I said, it's enjoyable for $15 or $17 or whatever the price is. I think it's worth it just to go in, especially if you want
Is
something
it
for
is
like
it a survival game? Is that
It's
what
not.
it is?
No,
Like genre?
No,
no.
it's not survival. Like it's
It's
survival in the sense
adventure.
that like you are on a world and you can die, but it's
Okay,
not
so
gonna
so
die
it's
from
just like a
hunger.
linear story or adventure game.
Yeah.
Linear in the sense of like you have to go like to progress to
You
the
have to
different
follow the
worlds, you
main
have to go
story.
do stuff, but
Yeah.
like it's not linear in the sense of like you can only go here and do this.
Sandbox game, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more sandboxy, but it's more of a guardrail sandbox. Let's just say that because it's not linear, but it's also there are rails that say like you can't go past here until you get to a certain point unless you somehow break it, which we've done. But like,
Gotcha.
there's nothing that says you have to keep going in this direction. And there's crafting and there's upgrading and there's choices and secrets and like one of the cool things is there's this thing. There's just like you look at it, you scan it, and it's like this looks like it once it could use meaty flesh, right? And it's got like this teeth, and it looks like a fucking garbage disposal. Or
Yeah.
these little like there's these little chicken things running around that are like little cute little puffball chicken whatever, or like right. And literally, if you run and slap it, it will kick,
You
and you just
punt that little shit.
and just go punk, and they literally go. "Ah," and if you do it right, it'll just get sucked into this like meat grinder,
Yeah.
which then it just is like, and the little thing screams, and then these tentacles come up, and there's your secret. You get to go in and do this.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you
great.
know, or you shoot this bird that, like, when you shoot it, it fucking splits into 6 things, and they're all screaming and yelling.
Those things are hilarious. They're like,
Oh,
ah! And they just run past you. You hear a distant screaming like, ah!
it's a fun, dinky little, like, Rick and Morty style game, and
Yeah.
when I played it and we were playing it, we just had fun. Like, it's one of those things that you smile, you have a good time with, you don't take it seriously, and you just have fun with it. So yeah, so that's a great couch co-op game. It's a great game to pick up to play co-op. Like I said, $17, it's worth it all day long. 25, I don't know if it's worth that. The other game that we've been playing is Spellbreak, and I'm not gonna spend a long time on this. But Spellbreak is a game that was not an Epic exclusive, then went Epic exclusive, then went to Steam. And it is a
It's a battle
wizard VR.
royale. It's a Harry Potter battle royale.
It's Harry Potter Fortnite.
It's
Pretty
not
much.
Fortnite.
I mean,
is
no,
Fortnite.
it's not.
It
It's
looks exactly like Fortnite.
It's Fortnite, just no building and no toxic 12-year-olds.
No, just toxic spells.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool little concept. I don't want to spend a lot of time. In fact, I don't really spend much time at all on this. I would say go check one of my streams. Go check. Well, I would say Scruffy stream, but unfortunately, Scruffy can't stream it and play the game at the same time. But
Bugs out.
you can go on my channel and check it. Some of those streams out that we've been on there. It's a cool little game. It's different than any BR that's out there. You know, you drop in, you have spells. You know, and all of these spells interact with each other. That's the cool part.
Yeah.
Is like if I
You
throw down
find these,
tornado,
yeah,
I
you
can
like
throw
find these
fire.
gauntlets pretty much, and
Yeah.
there's like 5 or 6 different kinds of gauntlets, like wind, earth, fire, toxic, ice. Like I'm missing one.
Electricity.
And electricity. And yeah, like he was saying, they all kind of combine with each other. So like if you throw down like that tornado, you know, you can make it like a fire tornado, I think a toxic tornado, electric tornado, and they all have their little things, so you can kind of combine. And you can only run 2 at a time. So you have your primary that you go into the game with, and then throughout the game you find a different like secondary spell to kind of combine that with.
Does it have the heart ring so that you can summon Captain Planet?
Oh my god. No, but
Enigma's got the jokes tonight.
He really does.
It's a cool little BR.
It's a
know,
good little
free to play.
pastime. Yeah.
Yeah, if you are in the mood for a BR game and don't want to deal with Warzone, try it out.
It's pretty. I mean, I liked watching you guys play it, but then
It
again,
looks
I
fun, yeah.
liked watching other people play like Fortnite as well. So I just don't really like playing BRs in general.
It can get extremely fucking hectic, extremely fast. Like,
yeah, some of those games when it gets down to that final circle, you still have like 4 or 5 teams in there, and they're all just going at it with tornadoes, spells, the other.
And that's the thing that makes it so much different than any other BR, right? In any other BR, you've got one line of fire that's going in this direction, right? And it's taking up this much space. But when you're in a circle like this, right, and you've got 2 teams, 3 teams, and they're casting fucking spells that take up the entire fucking circle.
Yeah.
Like last night's game or 2 nights ago, that game ended and there was 17 people alive, and it was me because Scruffy got,
I got eliminated, and Sin was
eliminated.
just hiding in a corner, invisible, seeing all of this go down. Just he kept casting this like shade over himself to go invisible, and everything's happening around him. It's hilarious.
It's nuts, dude, and it's crazy. So it's some really cool experiences. Like I said, free to play. Try it out. I think you'll have a good time with it if you like that.
Try it out on fucking Epic.
No, go
on Steam. Yeah,
do it on Steam. All right, so Valheim, Enigma. This is all you, buddy.
Oh,
Valheim, so good.
Oh, my audio just peaked. Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. All right, Valheim. Go ahead. Talk about Valheim. I mean, I've got a little bit, but
like we played it a little bit. You and I played it a little bit the other night, but not to an extent of like.
I've played it by myself too.
Have you? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I played a little bit by myself.
It's good, man. Like Valheim is it's a new like survival that's kind of hit the Steam marketplace by storm, and it's kind of taken over Steam and like streaming.
Boy, is it ugly
Lots
though.
of people. No, it's not.
So I would agree with you on a couple things. Yes, you're right. Certain aspects of that game are butt ass ugly. The character models are butt ass ugly.
Yeah.
The world itself is actually, I have grown to appreciate the artwork that they're going for.
Yeah, it looks like it's a blend of high res and low res to kind of
Like
create
the
this
ocean
like
and the lighting
mosaic
effects,
art
like, make
style.
it,
Like
Like make it chef's kiss.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't agree with him on the ocean
Does it
thing. I
have
don't
does
get
it
it.
have ray tracing?
It
No,
does. No,
No,
it has
no ray
it has
tracing.
light
It
rays.
has God rays, but it doesn't
God
have ray
rays,
yeah,
yeah.
tracing.
Not
yeah.
If that
No,
game
no
had
ray
ray tracing, it would fucking just the most
I don't know.
ugliest characters with this god ability of lighting.
I don't know. It gives me a very like I would say almost RuneScape charm to it, like the
that's
No,
new
what
I
I
get
thought of
you.
it,
I
yeah.
get you.
What
But
I
you
don't,
know, I get shit because apparently somebody was talking shit on a stream the other
I'll
night,
talk
and it
shit to
was
you
like
first. You don't like
I don't get why he doesn't like
he doesn't
fucking
like Gorgon. He doesn't like
doesn't
Gorgon.
like Gorgon,
Okay,
but he
so
loves this game.
okay,
Like
but Sin Gorgon is not a good looking game.
Exactly.
Gorgon is trying to be a game
Exactly.
from
It's trying to
20 years
be an old
Trying.
style game. Exactly. It's
right.
not trying to be a
I'm
good
just
looking
saying.
game.
I'm
We
just
But what
saying.
does
yeah,
this have to do with Valheim?
exactly. It's just like we all like our different things. Me and you like that kind of style. He doesn't. Okay, Valheim, it looks
It's not. Look, it ain't much.
decent.
I'm just saying. Right, Project Gorgon. If we're going this way, Project Gorgon, Valheim is right
No,
about here.
no,
You're
Valheim is
completely
a
full of
bit
shit.
past it. I
You are
won't
full
say
of
I don't.
shit
Valheim
on
looks
that one.
I don't
beautiful,
think
but
it looks. I
it's
don't think it looks
still
that bad.
yeah,
Personally,
it still looks
You
the
better.
only
are
thing that I
completely
think
full of shit on
genuinely
that one.
looks bad is the character models and some
The
of
textures,
like
the textures on the
textures.
trees
Yeah,
and shit
Yeah,
look
yeah.
terrible, and the
yeah.
character textures look terrible. But the fucking ocean mechanics and the fucking water mechanics and the way that the
As
light
long as
shadow
the
spot
ocean
play out
looks
together
good.
is
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah, no,
Pretty in its own way.
Yeah.
But
but
yeah, it's one of the new survivals that came on the market. It's a they market it as a Viking survival game, which we don't have too many of those, which is already like an A+ in my book because I don't know if
like
you
one of the
guys know
only.
this or not, but I'm a bit of a Viking history buff.
He gives a lot of leeway because it's Viking.
No, I
Yeah.
don't. I really don't. I really don't because I think it
It's
looks good.
Viking
I prefer
Minecraft,
it.
and I think that's a good thing.
But it is a good. It's polished up to the point like I'm actually very impressed with how polished it is for an early access game. Like
Oh yeah, 100%.
coming into it, I have had very little issues with the game. I do agree with some of the stuff that you brought up the other night when we were playing that it has some like quality of
Quality of
life
life, yeah.
situations that it needs to kind of help out its players with. Their fucking building system is pretty bad. It's
Yeah.
not
Dude,
amazing.
stuff does
It's not the
not
worst.
snap
It
properly.
does though. It
Well,
does as long as you know how to do it. Like
Got
once you get
it's
it
all
down.
it's all about terraforming the ground. You can't like build on like some of the sloping with the
Oh, that
terraforming
was
of the
something I was
ground.
gonna
It
ask. So
seems
there
like
is terraforming
really
and like
messy.
Yeah,
mining and stuff.
you can. You just have to use like stilts and stuff. That's the thing
Okay.
is like once you kind of figure out how to work with the building system, the building is extremely enjoyable.
I've seen nothing but new players like struggling to put up like a
Yeah, because
simple
they're
like
new.
square.
Oh,
Yeah,
you talking about? That was me. I'm literally
yeah,
going. I was 2 fucking seconds away from uninstalling
he
that
was.
game and asking for a refund because it was like put a roof over your workbench. I'm like, what the? First off, what the fuck for? And secondly, I'm sitting here trying to build, and I build out this fuck. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, great. I need to build any normal survival game. I'm like, all right, I got to build 4 walls. I got to put a roof over it. And this game is like, nah, build like 3 posts and put like this thatch thing over here. Then
Oh no, that's what I did.
this way and what? And I'm like,
That's what I did. He was
why?
like building this like complicated ass like fucking circle jerk like house.
I was building a
And
square fucking
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Just build 2 pillars and a fucking roof, and you're done.
I'm building a box. I'm sorry, whatever else. Like it's
It's called a lean.
yeah, I know what a lean-to is. Thanks, Jake. It's
But yeah, I mean, I will agree with you that like the building could use a little bit of love. Like they kind of don't have things necessarily amazing. It's not the worst building system that I've ever seen in a survival game, but it's definitely not the best.
I
It's
think
something they
they're
can
probably
improve on.
what's up?
It's something that they can improve on. I've seen some of
Yeah.
it. It's
What's
janky, but also that's kind of what the game is.
what's
Exactly.
impressive about it is some of the stuff I've seen people like screenshots of what people have built as far
yeah.
as like this kind of idea of like this Viking town and civilization.
On my dedicated server, I've got 6 guys that have been playing with me. I have 60 plus hours in this game already, and it's only been out for like maybe a week. And we've got a whole fucking like medieval or not Viking age fucking town, including docks and walls
Pretty
and
cool.
shit. Looks
Is there
fun.
Hell
boats?
yeah.
Is there
Yeah,
sailing?
so
You should throw some of those in my
I
Discord
definitely will
whenever.
throw
Yeah.
some screenshots up.
I'll be
I've
down to
even
see
got
it.
I went and found this small island out in the middle of the ocean because I was getting tired of. So they've got these events where like the further you progress in like killing the bosses, when you log in or when you first come into the game, the entire premise behind it, it's kind of got like a Shadow of the Colossus feel to it, where you have to go and kill these individual gods, right? And the further that you get into those gods, the worse these like events are, and they'll send like the initial one is like they send boars and shit at you, which attack your housing and shit, and then it just progresses upwards and upwards and upwards the further that you go with killing those bosses. I was getting tired of that because I'd get done building my house and then I'd get like the fucking troll event that came up and I'd get like three
those things are
trolls
fucking
taking down my
terrifying.
entire house.
Jeez.
So I went and found an island, and anytime an event happens, they get stuck in the water, and I'm just like, "Fuck you, bitch! You ain't getting my house."
I think their issue with the building side of it is that it seems like they went to a point where they tried to do a lot, but and that's what honest to God the whole game feels like they've done a lot of things. Like I'll say like it's one of the best games, at least early, when it was in early access in survival style games where if I go and cut down a tree, it will however,
Oh, that
it'll
nice.
hit another tree, it'll knock down that tree, or it may like lean to it'll may there you go, Jake. It'll lean to on another tree or whatever else, and like you can crawl up it. So their concepts of like that are really, really well done. Their principle behind giving the game like dungeons and more like some MMO elements to it add a lot. There's a lot of things like as you get into the game, if you were to just see it from its base level, which a lot of people I think just kind of saw this and was like, okay, like if it had released for more than money than what it was, I don't think it would have been as popular. Um, or as quickly. But once you get into the game, like you realize there's a lot of fucking subsystems into this. Like there's a lot of like systems on systems on systems on systems that is great. I think that they need to basically halt and do quality of life stuff now. The fact that I can't go in and see like what items do I need to craft, like or do I need to be able to craft the next
Yeah,
stuff? Like I have to go to a workbench to be able to see that that stuff sucks. There's things like I can't change keybinds like realistically. Like I can't mouse wheel through my items. I have to that does my camera zoom. I don't like that. And it's small stuff. But I will say, like, if you also, too, fuck deers and their stealthing, like, which I know they're fixing in an update that are
you're
coming out.
You got
you
ninja
fucking
steers.
completely. We
I
got a little bit of
negate
backstory.
archery.
He
I do
refuses to do
archery.
archery.
I don't like archery.
He
I've not I
refuses
don't
to
like
pick up
archery.
a bow. So
What?
he's sitting there trying to kill a fucking deer with a spear, throwing it at it, and going to fucking pick it
What do
up.
you
And I'm
think
like, and
hunting is,
I'm
Sin?
I'm sitting there like, oh, you want that dead?
No, no, no,
Pshoo, there
no,
you go.
no, no, no. Let me understand. Look. My problem isn't the fact that you can effectively use a spear with killing stuff or whatever else. There's two problems that I have with it. One is the stealth, because they said they're addressing this. The
Yeah,
stealth stuff is coming up, and they're fixing the stealth issue. They know that's an issue, that it's a problem. They've already addressed. They said they're coming out with an update for that. Because you would literally like go to stealth up to this thing, and it would say you're stealth, but I'm telling you, and I understand realistic, deers, whatever. But I'm telling you, this thing would fucking just like take off, and it would be.
Were you walking at it? Was the wind blowing towards the deer, or were you walking into the
And
wind?
it doesn't do all that shit. It isn't scum. But uh,
Had
the
you showered recently?
okay. The other aspect I have, and
Did you find deer urine and rub it on your boots?
good.
Mm.
that's a terrible deer call. Wow, wow.
Isn't there somebody on Twitch that you need to go like meet up with, eat grass or something like that?
Oh God.
Um. Anyway, so is the trajectory, that's my bigger issue, is mainly the trajectory with it. Is like you'll go and you'll set to aim this thing up here, and there is like
Pretty
drop
bad
off
drop off.
and stuff like that. But like you'll go and should be like, okay, it should go here based on where I'm at, and you'll fucking sometimes overshoot that bitch. Other times you'll hit right in front of it. Um,
I was
So
watching somebody who was doing some archery stuff earlier, and I see what you're saying, but also it seems like something that you kind of just can get used to. Like you
The
just
bows,
play with it
the
enough.
reticle is the one thing that they do need to fix. Is yes, the reticle is off, and it's a
It
little bit
might throw you
up
off a little
and a
bit.
little bit to the left. You need to aim a little bit up and a little bit to the left in
Yeah,
order to hit on center.
that's what I was seeing. So
but I mean, aside from that, like it really is a game that is very impressive. Even if you're, I will say, as survival games go, most of the times I don't like playing survival games by myself. I want to play with another person. This is actually a game because of the way that they've built the world and progression. It actually is playable by yourself and is fun. You know,
Oh, and the one thing that I like about it as well is that like you can play by yourself, and then the way that they have their characters set up is that like if you want to play with your friend but you don't want to restart a new character, you can take your character that you're playing on your solo world into any world.
yeah,
that's cool.
That's
Because
pretty cool.
because it's not like a massive multiplayer game or it's not like a PvP game. They say fuck it and they're just like, hey, if you want to take your max level fucking 60-hour Viking into this new dude's fucking new world, have at it.
I love the how they drop you into that. It's like these fucking ravens. Also, fuck Huggins. That's the fucking stupid.
Huggins awesome, man, but he's annoying.
Who is Huggins?
They fly you in on this big ass Valkyrie, right? And then like I don't know, man, you're like 50 to no, you're farther. You're like probably a good like 200 foot up, and she just drops you. Like there is no care in the world. She just drops you, and you just like fucking plummet to the earth and just go bonk into the ground. That's but
My
yeah,
favorite thing with this game so far is for somebody to piss off a lot of things, run up a hill or whatnot, and have a tree like pre-cut ready to fall,
Yeah.
and they just drop the tree and roll it on everything.
That's the physics mechanics in it are awesome.
yeah.
That's
I don't get to do that. I just have them chase me forever and ever.
Oh, yeah, that was actually something I was gonna ask. Does the base building have physics?
Everything,
Okay,
everything,
In
everything's
everything.
got
Dust Wars,
physics,
you have to actually like to consider what you're like how far out you're building and everything like
right?
that.
Because it will
Yeah,
collapse.
even
It
like
will,
smoke, like
yep.
you have to have holes for smoke,
Yeah,
otherwise smoke out your fucking thing.
I
it's
guess
got a
that would make
mechanic with
sense.
airflow
Yeah,
If
you
a troll
actually have to
comes in
have
and
like a
smashes
chimney.
one of your building supports.
Mhm.
it would all topple. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why like I said that's why I went out and found that Soul Island is because I had a troll come in, take out half my base, and the rest of it fell down.
Another
Yeah,
thing, is this game procedurally generated?
It is. Yeah, the
yeah.
entire map is
Good.
procedurally generated, and it's a huge fucking map.
That's good.
Like it's not just like a small map; it's
Have
like a
you
world.
have you worked in like multiple worlds, and have any of you guys, and how much variation actually is there to like from one world to another?
I
Is
mean,
it like is
they've
it
only
like
got
biome based
yeah,
or
it's biome based. They've only got currently 4 biomes that are
okay?
actual. Yeah, 4 biomes. They've
I'm
got the
sure they'll add
meadows.
more.
Yeah, they will. They've got the meadows. They've got the dark forest. They've got the savanna, and then they've got the swamps. And they have 2 other biomes called the cinder biome and the mist biome that are in the game currently. It's just nothing spawns inside of them.
Okay, so
It's
like
so
dead zones.
they're still kind of deving those, and those are going to be coming in. They've got a roadmap up
Map.
already. Yeah, and the next update's going to be I think it's called like Cult of the Wolf or something like that, which sounds interesting.
Cool.
They haven't
Yeah.
really
I like
detailed
wolves.
anything
Cool thing is,
about what it is. So
it's come out of nowhere. I mean, the game it
it
literally
did.
came out of nowhere.
I
Dude, all the
literally
best
found out about it
games,
2 days before it released and was like, why have I never heard of this?
Yeah.
Like
all the
this
best
is
games, man. If
legitimately like
2020
right up
taught
my
us
alley.
anything, it's the fact that random indie games that pop up out of nowhere always like are where the success is gonna lie. It was with Among Us. It was with uh, that one
Phasmophobia.
Ghost game, Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But
just a good time, man. Indie devs like there's a lot of them out there. It's real saturated, but whenever they hit gold, they fucking just boom
Yeah.
the one thing I will
to
say
the
as
moon like
well,
Dogecoin.
the one thing that I will say as well is like the mechanics behind like sailing and shit are like spot on.
That's good.
Like
Better than Atlas.
Except for the fact you ran into almost every fucking rock on that.
Sin, you can't
didn't
speak.
actually-
You were terrible at Sea of Thieves when it came to running our boat.
Sin for
I
some
think-
reason didn't see him, but like the wave mechanics,
Yeah.
can get insane. They can it's like on par with well, not really on par, but it's up there with like Sea of Thieves and
See if
Outlaws.
they've
Okay,
got
I
it
need to see
down.
them because what I saw was not that. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it rains, so the water can."
I don't know why you couldn't see them. Like
He was
on,
like, "Oh my god,
on my screen,
dude!"
they were huge fucking waves.
I'm like,
Huh.
"Dude, this looks like I don't know, man. This looks like some really shitty fucking version of like what water is supposed to be like." But whatever. Hey, man, I believe you. Like,
I don't know
sure.
why you weren't see
I
it,
mean,
but yeah,
Sea of Thieves and Assassin's Creed Black Flag to me are the two games that have like the
yeah.
best fucking ocean out there.
Yeah.
Well, the sailing is extremely good. Like you actually have to like sail into the wind. You have to direct your sails to
But
So wait, you're telling me you have to
reverse flag.
sail into the wind properly, but a deer's not going to smell you downwind?
Yep.
I think you guys need to think into that one. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, deer urine
Also, I
on the
don't think you're supposed
boots.
to sail into the wind. You're supposed to sail with the wind.
Whatever.
I
You're
don't know.
good.
I'm not getting on another fucking boat because he mentioned that there's a kraken out there. So I'm like, I'm good. I'll stay
Yeah,
on land. I
it's
don't ever
like
need to go out into the fucking water.
as far as I've heard, there's a kraken, and
Billy gonna give it to you.
I know that there's sea serpents that have fucked my boats up quite a few times.
I don't need any of that. I don't need that shit. That's why I don't play Subnautica. I don't deal with
And it's got kind of a system kind of like in Windwalker where you have stamina. So like if you get dropped into the ocean, you're dead. Like there's no swimming back to land.
Dang.
Gotcha. I know that the weather affects your stamina too. So if you're like cold, you'll
Yep.
slower regen and stuff like that.
Yep. So
It's good, man. Like I said, it's definitely one of the first
Viking
like
Minecraft
survival.
for the win.
Not even because it's Viking, but one of the first survival games that's like been polished enough that I'm like, wow, that's
well, I think it's a
pretty
good
good.
thing that they went Viking, though. I
It
mean,
is a good
I
Yeah,
think that if we would have
it's
just
a
had another
market that
Subnautica,
hasn't really been saturated.
right? We
Plus,
every
that's like heavy into like Viking culture. Like they're all about like bouncing around, building
Mhm.
up bases out of nothing.
Yeah,
Sailing, exploring, everything.
kind of
Yep.
Yeah.
pillaging,
it
all that kind
works.
of
I'm
good stuff.
surprised it hasn't been done before, especially by like the developers
That's
of
what
like
I was
Ark and
saying, man.
stuff.
Like
Because I
we've literally had zombie
everything
survival games. We've had
dinosaurs, you've had
dinosaurs.
pirates, you've had Ark.
Where the fuck's our goddamn Viking
Yeah,
survival
that's what
games?
I'm happy. Like I thought when I first seen this game, like when it released, I'm like, oh no, it's just another Ark clone. You know, I literally thought it was made by the people who made Ark too. It looked like that light and dark game or whatever they made that was a trash dumpster fire.
That Citadel and
Yeah, so did all of those. So I'm like, oh, please don't be. But I'm glad to see it's actually took its own direction and has been pretty good.
Yeah. So I think it's a good deal. If you guys haven't looked at it, definitely take a look at it on Steam. I think it's I like I said, I've got 60 hours in it, and I'm not even halfway through the fucking bosses.
yeah,
So
Nice.
it's definitely fun. Check it out. Okay, so we are going to plow through these fucking articles that we've got here in news. First up is YouTube side. Happy about this, but obviously I moved over here for live streaming. And there's a few things that I think that are missing on this side, and YouTube is adding clips to live streaming, which I think is a big deal. But the interesting thing that actually came out too that just recently changed was not only just the clip stuff, but actually their algorithm has changed now to feature or make it more prominent for live streamers. So one of the things about the YouTube algorithm is that it was used to be based on like content and likes and hitting the sub notifications and things like that, and like it would go through this whole big thing about kind of who is it going to push to you. Well, now what they're doing as far as like recommended content and what's getting bubbled up is actually based a lot around comments, and that's a large chunk of it. And it still has the other elements to it, but your comment section is very very big, and also these clips are going to be big parts of the algorithm. So with live streamers, as things are being happening inside, well, I don't know if they're going to keep it like this, but as it stands right now, because technically a live stream is a quote unquote VOD
Video.
video
Yeah.
of how they do it. Um, every single chat message now basically helps with the algorithm to boost that up. So people that have engaged,
Spam. No.
yeah. So, look, all
Wait
I
for
need
the
you guys to do
bots.
is go into my channel and just start spamming eyes and peas and penises. I don't really
IP.
care, whatever. Just get that thing, get it. You know,
Yeah.
I need as many messages. But anyway, it helps with getting the discoverability scene, which I think is good. And I think adding clips is great. And I think it shows YouTube trying to focus in on some of the live streaming stuff, because I do think that they have a winning program over here. It just needs a lot. It needs some work. But
The
yeah.
way they're making these clips is kind of interesting though. I looked at it and it's pretty much like clips aren't their own video. They're segmented parts of the actual live video or, you know, posted video or whatever. So I thought that was kind of interesting because the way you have it on Twitch is like you clip something and it's its own thing now. It's this 1 minute or 5 to 1 minute thing. So I don't
Yeah,
know how that'll be really.
so what I like, there's things I like about that and things I don't like about it. Because I was on the fence. And Epos Vox actually did a really good kind of breakdown of the clips and YouTube. But the thing about it that I like is that they once you go into that clip and you watch it, it basically will auto put you into the video right when it's done, right? So it's not gonna
Well, it'll
like
loop at first. I think it's set on a loop of the clip. The way I was seeing it from one of the insiders who's actually working on it, it loops the clip, but you have the option to either just cancel the clip view or just click on the bar to go anywhere in the live video or just catch up to the live video.
So I didn't know that it did the looping. Again, I was just going off of kind of what I saw in EPOS box, and that's good. I mean, if it has the option to loop, but anyway, I think it helps with discoverability. Whereas with Twitch, like if you watch a clip, if you're not hitting that button to go to the next clip, go to go to the live stream or go to that channel, it's just gonna play a random fucking clip. Like I just get random clips of things that I could care less about, whatever else. So it's interesting to see kind of where they go with it. But like I said, I'm happy that they're at least focusing on live streaming and saying like, "Hey, this is something that we need to actually physically do."
Yeah.
Um,
It's just
Yeah,
I
it's a cool system, and from what it looks like the streamer should be able to like take those clips and like just tell YouTube that you want to like segment this out as a video for like a short,
yes,
and you should be able to easily do that. But from base level, from what it's looking like, it looks like they're just basically interactive highlights or interactive timestamps at first, and then the streamer can determine what they want to do with it from there.
yeah.
I'm just a little confused on how like these clips are going to be shared. Not like because obviously you could just like make it, clip it, and share it to your friends and stuff. But like if they're gonna be posted anywhere as like in like a little clips category or something. Because as of right now, I'm not really sure how
I
I
don't.
don't
the
think YouTube's even
availability.
aware. They haven't mentioned anything
Yeah,
about like
I don't
how
think
they're
they
going to
did.
be
Still in
because
testing
it's not going to be
process.
pushed as a video. They've
Yeah,
confirmed that it is not like clips themselves are
that's
not
a
going to
good thing
be
though,
specifically
because
video.
they would get lost in the floods of hundreds of other
It
videos.
would completely oversaturate an already oversaturated video
Yeah,
thing. You would just like your homepage would be nothing but like
it needs to be its
10
own
to 60
own
second
category of
things.
just like highlights and clips, like something like that to not flood the already existing videos, but also not have the clips be lost in those videos or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think what they're going to eventually gonna move down and see is like we've all seen the rise in TikTok, whether you like it or not. I can't stand TikTok. I hate fucking TikTok. But TikTok is successful.
Hit or miss.
Uh, and I think the thing there is like YouTube obviously sees that and they're like, okay, cool. How do we capture this? Like, how do we do something like this? But they also, look at it like our bread and butter is videos. It's not live stream right now. But what I will say is that they did just have a conference, or they at least announced a conference where they're pulling all of their top live streamers in to do kind of like this whole breakdown of what do you want, how do we change it, how do we make it better, how do we see it, going, and what do we need to change. So that's good, right? That will apply pressure to Twitch, and vice versa, to have competition with each other to actually make something better, right?
If YouTube came
Yeah,
out with
and
something like
competition helps everybody.
yeah,
Competition, whether you're a YouTuber, whether you're a Twitch streamer, whether you're a Twitch streamer that does YouTube videos, or any mix and match, any competition is overall going to help content creation as a whole.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But if YouTube came out with something like what TikTok does, honestly, that might blow up because that's the format that a lot of people nowadays are wanting is that short, like 10
quick hit.
second to one minute video. They'll take it over any like hour long or 30-minute long highlight video any day just because of like how quick it goes. You can get lost in that.
YouTube's already pushing that style of video to begin with.
I've noticed
I've
that. Like
been
I've
I've
been
been seeing
recommended a
a
lot.
massive upsurge of like 40-second
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
YouTube's always been really big with like short form content. They've always
They either
wanted,
want
like,
10
100
plus or they
minutes.
want less
Yeah.
than a minute
Yeah.
is
Well,
the
they have
way.
shorts, which I think that's YouTube is shorts. Instagram is Reels, which is their and that's their live service, but also like their like quick.
But shorts aren't anything different than just like like
No, but I'm saying it's them in that small format, small like trying
yeah.
to capture that or whatever else. No one has done it. What's mind blowing too about this is like TikTok was fucking musically. Like TikTok was not TikTok. Like,
Oh
it
yeah.
was musically before it was TikTok. Like the fact that it's blown up. I guess thank God for high school girls doing stupid dances because TikTok wouldn't be what it is today without that. Like you know
Bro,
what I mean? Like
I think we should go and do a TikTok lip sync.
yeah. Well, it's I don't
100%.
know.
I don't know
But
about
in any case, you're right.
Come on, bro.
You're shut up, Enigma. God, we're not.
that.
Oh my we are I think you're right, Sruff, where people will consume that in large amount of doses over a short period of time, where like, oh, I'm gonna go sit on a toilet instead of going looking through Twitter, I'm gonna look through TikTok, right? Or whatever else. Or if I'm in a car ride, I'm gonna go look at TikTok videos. Um, but then if YouTube can capitalize on that and as well have their video on demand content that they've got plus live streaming, like that's a monster of a platform,
It
Yeah.
is 100%.
They just have to push the right things because like uh, if that if there is like a shorts or something, I've never heard of it. I've never seen like a shorts tab or something.
Google is never good about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they
Like they
need
are
to.
very good about bringing shit out and then
Yeah,
letting it die.
yeah, they need to really like focus in on some key aspects of it. But
No, absolutely. And I'll say like being over here on YouTube, like it is a lonely feeling, like watching, everybody on Twitch, streaming it. But I mean, I understand. I made my choice and I'm happy with it. But like what I'll say is like discoverability for something like Spellbreak or Journey to the Savage Land or Neo, like or whatever else, like playing those types of games over on YouTube won't get you the viewers that will just come in and start chatting and being like, oh my gosh, this is great. Like if you're not playing the top games, like obviously you're not going to get the live view content.
yeah,
It's reversed, right? What it is basically you're creating that content, you're going to be in that kind of small bubble for a while until that content becomes part of the algorithm, and then once that algorithm takes off and your videos start getting traction, then someone basically goes, oh, this was a live stream, now I'm going to come into your to watch your stuff, and I want to be part of your channel, your live channel, or they're going to watch it later, right? Which it's still different, but whereas on Twitch it's the reverse. It's you have that chance of being into that live, those smaller games will gather those people, right? Whereas on the bigger games, your discoverability is complete dog shit. Like you're just not going to get picked up if you're playing Call of Duty or Warzone or whatever else. Like everybody is playing that shit.
yeah,
Um, so it's just two interesting dynamics, and it's interesting to see where they're going to go with it. Scruff, I'm gonna let you take this one. Terraria. Something happened in
yeah.
Terraria world.
Well, this is actually pretty crazy. So it came out about a month ago that the co-lead developer of Terraria, his name's Andrew Spinks. He came to Twitter to pretty much tell that YouTube or to Google that his YouTube account for Relogic and Terraria, his whole YouTube account, was pretty much taken down and like terminated. Like the videos I think are still there, but they can't have access to it. So he was like, "What's the deal with this? Like something's up. Why can't we access?" They said they got some DM or not DMCA some TOS strike or something about whatever. So he pretty much went to Twitter about it to try and like get it resolved, and all the Google has done is jack shit. For the past month, he's literally had multiple cases of more than just YouTube stuff being taken down off Google, like his Google like storage. I'm pretty sure. Let me see, like even stuff that he's bought on Google Play, he doesn't have access to anymore. So like everything on Google is being restricted from him. So with this being said, they've pretty much decided to take Terraria off of Google Stadia. Like just completely, like
Good.
they're not supporting Google Stadia at all whatsoever. and there'll be no further development for that. So I don't know. That's pretty nuts. But like I
That's
see
actually something that's been happening with a couple of other different games too. From what I've heard,
taken off of Google Stadia.
are stopping Google Stadia. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
Stadia themselves are not doing anything else. They
yeah,
have stopped all of their own in-house development for games on
Yeah,
Steam.
they're
yeah,
going
surprised.
exclusively for third-party developers on the Stadia platform.
yeah.
Doesn't surprise me,
I
man.
think that's
It's
good. I
just
mean, it's bullshit.
I think in a couple of years Stadia is going to be
it's just
a
gonna be like
forgotten
every other one
project.
of
Yeah.
Google's projects. It's gonna be like that Google Plus or whatever their fucking Facebook clone. You're
Yeah.
never gonna
Mm,
hear about them
I
again.
don't even think I heard about that. But yeah, like it's pretty bullshit. The Google's support and everything for stuff like this. So I have nothing but respect for Terraria still and their choices of what they want to do.
It's
Hell yeah,
honestly
dude.
pretty standard for Google
Yeah.
when it
No,
comes to
no,
like
no,
problems. They don't really give you
one
too
of
much.
one of
Mm-mm.
the best things I think that Terraria could do is I think that they could go to Xbox and go to the xCloud system, their Project xCloud, and be part of like that Game Pass and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
Um,
They might
I think that,
already be, but I'll have to double check on that.
but if they can go become part of Project xCloud, because I've actually had several friends that are actually using xCloud, that Project xCloud, and they said it's amazing. I mean, they said it works phenomenally. Now, right now, obviously, there's not that many people on it, so it's not a really good judge, a basis of like stability. But Stadia doesn't work, and there's only 4 people on Stadia, right? Like, I mean, Stadia's a piece of shit. And then I actually got access into Luna, and that's okay. It's not bad, but it's not great. Like, you know, um, but Project X Cloud supposedly is supposed to be really good. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, congrats to Terraria. I mean, I think stand up to big companies and things like that are doing things that they probably shouldn't do, and you know, um, I mean, I think
Yeah.
that they're successful enough on their own. I mean, they've made I'm sure they've done really really well, or I know they've done really really well on Steam. I think Steam and direct to download is the only place you can get it, right? Aside from uh,
Steam, yeah. I think I just looked. I think it is on Xbox Game Pass.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
So, good
It's
for
not
them.
on Epic.
No,
Not
it's
on
not on
Epic.
Epic.
Don't worry about.
Another good for them.
Android, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox.
I think mobile is their biggest platform, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they have it's very similar to
No,
Minecraft.
it's not their big. I mean, PC is definitely always gonna be their
I
biggest,
bet,
but mobile is
I bet, I
pretty.
bet their user base. I'm talking about user base. I bet their user base on mobile is larger than their user base on PC.
I'd have to double check on that, but I mean, it's all pretty
I
big.
the only reason I wouldn't say that's probably the case is because of the mod community on PC is
Yeah.
massive.
Minecraft,
Also, mobile
Minecraft,
is always a
is
few
played a lot.
updates behind. I think
Yeah,
they still haven't.
Minecraft is played. I'm just going off. Again, I don't know the numbers, but I'm just saying Minecraft is played more on mobile than it is on there's more user base on mobile. Same thing with Fortnite, whatever else. Now obviously Fortnite's free, but same thing. Like the user base on mobile is larger than the user base on PCs or consoles.
It
Maybe
might
not
be,
combined,
but
but anyway. So yeah, so good on them. Enigma, you've got this one. So Gearbox being bought out by Embraced Group.
Yeah.
it
I remember
happens.
that.
It's just
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. No, they got Gearbox got bought out by a mobile development company essentially.
oh, that's what Embrace
Um,
Group is.
yeah, they do a lot of like Chinese mobile games and
Oh,
shit.
jeez.
Are they
It's
going to give bonuses though? That's the only.
probably not, no, because like as far as I know, Randy's still the lead of Gearbox, so he's probably going to continue to fuck over people just like he has been for the past however long he's been fucking over people.
It's just really sad that like Gearbox was one of those companies that I used to really, 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 really trust,
Yeah.
and I just I don't have any trust right now.
Oh, the
Was it
good
always
news,
the same guy in
Randy
Gearbox?
Randy
Randy
Pitchford,
Pitchford, yeah, he's always been around.
Eesh.
he started off as like a really cool dude and then became a big dick.
No, he didn't. He was
That
always
sucks.
a dick.
No,
He was
Borderlands, dude,
always a dick, bro.
Borderlands one. He was like he was really good.
I
And
always thought he was a
they had
boss.
another game too that was it was Borderlands and
Colonial Marines,
huh?
Colonial Marines, or whatever the
No,
alien.
no, not that fucking shit show of a game. It was something else that they did. But anyway, he was I don't know, he was a cool dude, and then he became a dick.
Never like him. I always
Uh,
thought he was a pompous prick.
it sucks.
Well, yeah, the good news, I guess you could say it was good news if you don't like Gearbox right now. Essentially, what they're doing is they're putting him on a. I don't know if you guys remember the whole fiasco with Fallout New Vegas, where Bethesda basically told him that you're on a performance base. So if you hit this certain type of Metacritic, you get an X amount of money
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that was their bonuses that they were.
or bonuses.
Yeah,
This company is telling Gearbox that if you don't hit this X amount of money, you don't get paid. Essentially,
we're gonna shut you down.
from what I can understand, and from what I was reading, they have like a target of like if you don't hit over $1 million or something like that. It's something stupid too. It's like any all of their games that they've released have never hit this
What
Oh,
target.
wow.
do they have? Do they have a new game coming out? Like Borderlands?
They're just pushing heavily into Borderlands
Yeah,
3 like year
especially
2 content.
Borderlands.
Oh, good.
Which Borderlands is still doing fairly well. It's not doing amazing, but
They
it's
Does
can
still
do $1 million
maintaining.
well.
does Gearbox have anything to do with the Borderlands movie?
They have
I
to.
didn't.
They gotta have some kind of play in it.
Yeah, I mean they got
They
some kind of play, but
they own the licensure for the franchise, but I don't think they're actually an active in the
they're
screenwriting
probably just
or
given a
anything like
license
that.
and yeah, just gonna like
Yeah.
do
I
whatever.
heard I read today that Jack Black's
Yeah,
playing what's his
Claptrap.
name? Claptrap.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that too.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like
I
I
love
think it'll
Jack
Claptrap,
be
Black. I
fine.
think that'll be good. Yeah,
it'll be funny.
yeah.
Did you guys see?
It'll be
And
funny, but it won't be
and
Claptrap.
Kevin Hart's gonna be Roland, I believe. Is
I think so. Yeah.
I don't even know which one Roland is. Stuck with Borderlands.
He's the commando from 1.
Oh,
He
okay,
was him and Lilith were a thing.
gotcha.
I'm playing Lilith.
I actually wouldn't mind going back to play Borderlands 3.
It's a good time. To give a little insight though, Embracer Group, they own a few other notable studios. They're not just like some random mobile game
Yeah, no.
entity. Biggest of which is they own THQ now, which
Oh,
owns like notably Gunfire Games, who did the Revenant series.
yeah.
Um,
Embracer Group has been buying up a lot of 2020. They bought a lot. They acquired a lot of studios.
yeah,
So
yeah, they bought.
it's very interesting to see kind of what's going down with that.
And
Like
from what I understand, they're pretty hands off with a lot of like they don't really like put a lot of restrictions on any of their subsidiary studios. They kind
no.
of just let them do their thing as long as they're meeting budget requirements.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Everything's gonna be owned by Tencent soon, so it's all a
Well,
matter of time.
that's essentially that's what I was trying to get at. Was like it's kind of interesting to see what's going down because like Tencent is buying a lot of companies up, right?
Yeah.
EA is continuing to not as heavily, but they're continuing to buy up entities. Microsoft is buying up entities left and fucking right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Um,
but think about this, right? And this is, I think, anything business related, whatever else. If you look at the pendulum of where gaming was, 20 years ago, right? 30 years ago. It was, well, I'll say 20 years ago because 30 years ago it was still in kind of its infant phase. Um, 20 years ago, you had I mean, there was just an explosion of fucking companies, right? There was these massive companies or just mid-sized. There was indie studios really wasn't a thing. There was just all of these fucking mid-sized devs that just, came out and it just exploded, right? We had Activision, we had EA, we had Bethesda, we had, all THQ, we had Nordic, we had, Atari, I mean, Midway. I mean, there was just fucking hundreds of them. And as the years kind of progressed, they've slowly died off and whatever else. And then now you're seeing that rise of like, okay, great, we can buy the properties, we can buy the studios, the ones that are still on their last leg, we can go and gobble them up. And you're going to see these conglomerates that are going to own them, right? So essentially, you're going to have these Microsofts, these EAs, these, and I don't, honest to God, I don't think EA is going to last. I don't think EA will last enough. I don't think they have enough under their belt. Their sports licenses do it well, but other than that, I don't think that they've got enough going for
I
them.
think that I'm pretty sure that I read when I was looking up this information that they've been like this is one of their most lucrative years just off of their sports franchises.
Well, right. Their sports will hold them. I don't know how much longer they can truly survive in a world where you've got companies like Tencent or Microsoft that's basically saying, we'll throw billions of dollars at you. We'll buy you, like, or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Yeah.
true.
especially to own. If you think about a company like Tencent or Microsoft or Sony's not doing it, but like these companies like Embracer Group to go and say, "Oh, we're going to own the NFL license." Like you buy EA, you own the NFL license. You own FIFA. Fuck yeah, dude. They'll come out and drop, billions of dollars.
The part that I do agree with you is if they start losing contracts, like they've lost the Star Wars contract recently,
Well, they did.
right?
They
Like
lost.
if they
Yeah.
they only lost exclusivity, which essentially made them a butt fuck a load of money.
Yes, but it also caused them a lot of problems.
It did cause them problems, but they were legitimately the only people that can make fucking Star Wars games for years. So if they lose contracts for sports games like FIFA, oof,
Yeah, they won't. I don't see them losing that. Like those
I
like Star Wars.
I see them losing Star Wars.
Yeah, no, Star Wars I can understand because you got there's Disney's got reputation in that, like that's like there's a lot of stuff that plays into Star Wars than it is like FIFA. Like it's you're talking about EA who blocked out 2K, they blocked out THQ, they've blocked out several other companies that would try to get into that space. They just completely demolished them. Like they're not losing that license. I don't see them losing that license anytime soon. I like Star Wars, yeah, that's not a shocker to me. I'm like, bro, it needed to happen. They needed to get away, or whatever. Like that needed to go
The
to other.
Star Wars licensure is so twisted in so many
Fucking
different
weird, man.
directions anyway.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Like LucasArts video games, it's LucasArts films video games. It's fucking dumb. Like it's crazy. So yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, I mean, all these organizations, I think these Chinese, things, companies are going to end up owning a lot of these things. Whether that's good or bad, whether that gives funding. Clay just got bought up. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. Or they controlling stock by it's Tencent now.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, so I don't know. Moving on. So Mass Effect. I don't know which one of you guys brought this up, but what is going on in the Mass Effect world?
I brought this one up. So Mass Effect,
Baby.
the trilogy is getting a next generation remaster.
Legendary edition, yeah. Right.
Yeah, so it's going to be a complete visual overhaul of the games. Most of the game mechanics and stuff, from what I understand, are going to be the same. And the game should overall play exactly the same as it did. But
Speaking of
BioWare has made the conscious decision to go and alter some of the camera angles and the cutscenes to not include booty shots.
What? Why?
So
Wait. Why?
I'm getting into that. So in the original
I
game,
have I have my
Enigma
opinions
and
on
I
it,
had talked
but
about this earlier, but in the original version of the game, during Mass Effect is based on there's like some systems where you can choose dialogue options and it'll affect how things go. And there were some of the camera angles in these kind of cutscenes where whenever you're choosing the decision to like pan like to different angles
Miranda's
within the
booty.
conversation, and it'll just zoom right up into her
Loved
colon.
it, dude.
And Miranda, for anybody that hasn't played Mass Effect, she's a very, very beautiful woman, and she is wearing a skin tight latex space like
Skin tight.
pants. Like they spent a significant amount of time perfecting those polygons. Let
Yes,
Yep.
me tell you.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Well, I mean, why? Like,
That's the question. Like, why
So
would they do this?
so they say that it is to make the game. They basically were wanting to go back and fix aspects that were
Aspects.
from what they claim, to make the game more serious in those serious moments. I guess these were immersion breaking things that they wanted to remove
I feel like I would be
for
more immersed.
narrative sake.
I was engrossed. I was focused.
But
Dead center
Enigma,
on what I saw.
if you would like to go in with your theory on this, because I think it holds a bit of water after we had this conversation
I don't
on
know,
why like a spontaneous censorship would
Yeah.
happen. And this has the Mass Effect like community in complete uproar because, for one,
It
as you're
should.
saying, Sinan, it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
And
know if it should. Like, it is something. It's disappointing to say the least. But
I don't know,
at the
the
same
the
time,
reason why I
I mean, I
say
don't think it's the worst thing.
the
Like, if they
the
wanna
reason
just
why
take
I
some
say it
booty
should,
shots,
but the reason why I say it should is if they're remaking it, if they're wanting
it
to
it
stay
should stay
true,
true, yeah.
it should stay true to what it was, not fucking. That's why I don't like the Final Fantasy VII remake because
But
they
from
did
what
a
I've
bunch of
heard, I've never played Ass Effect, but from what I've heard, that there's only, like, a select number
Get that
of
on the
these
screen.
ass
Where is it
shots.
right now?
There's
It's
only, like,
animated.
a select number of these ass shots in the dialogue,
There's
and
quite a few.
well, I don't know.
It's
Fro
not a
from what I
small
was
amount.
watching, there's a small amount, but I don't
No,
know.
it's not a small amount. Like there's a decent amount of fucking ass shots.
It
So
just doesn't seem like
there's a
it's that big a
cutscene
deal. I think
where
people are
you're
making it
talking
worse
to
out
It's
to be
not.
Amanda.
where it is.
I'm not saying that it's a huge deal, but
Yeah.
I am saying that to me
It's
it's a
just
huge deal.
disappointing, I feel like.
To me it's a huge deal for the reason that I was going to get into, and I'll let Bill
There,
continue real quick.
there's a scene, the one that they specifically pointed out as an example of a scene that they are going, or a camera angle they're going to be removing, is there is a conversation where you're talking to Miranda about some real serious shit. I'm not going to
Oh,
get into
yeah,
the
I've seen
storyline or
this.
anything like that. And she's like leaning over a console, like doing
Hell
something
yeah,
on a
bro.
computer, and the camera is just like
In
up
her
there.
asshole, bro.
Like you don't see anything of her from like lower back up. It's just ass and then Shepherd off in the
That
distance.
that scene specifically, I feel like is okay though, because and I've seen it. She
You're okay
is
with that?
no. Okay to be removed. I'm saying okay to be removed.
No, I think it's completely okay.
No.
Hand check,
It's
boys.
it's
Hand
it's
check.
it's okay to be removed, you see, because that is a very serious topic of what that scene is about. So the
But
fact that
it made it more serious.
it made it so your attention was driven somewhere else, not to what the
I don't even
actual
remember what
dialogue
that fucking.
was.
I don't even remember what that dialogue was about, but it was
You
serious,
you
bro.
don't you never
It
knew what
was
it was about in the
serious.
first place. You don't remember because you didn't hear it. You were focused on something else.
Oh shit.
But
So
Went down.
the biggest thing is
her ass.
yeah the biggest thing is people feel like if you're just gonna like visually remaster the game, like keep every aspect
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
For me personally, I could give two shits one way or the other. It's their game, it's their IP, they can do what
Yeah.
they want. But I
Yeah.
just found it amusing that they, for one, are feeling like they need to censor this kind of stuff out of their project. BioWare isn't the same BioWare it was back in the day. This is basically a completely from the ground up different studio than what
Yeah, it's not
BioWare
even
used to
close.
be.
Yeah.
So I can understand if they're not wanting their new team's name tied to that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, it's unnecessary, but I don't care. Like I said, they can do whatever they want with it, but a lot of
They-
people just feel like it's egregious and unnecessary.
The thing, real quick, right? The thing that
Yeah.
I'll say that I have an issue with, right? And obviously, out of a lot of people on that, on this show and all our viewers kind of know, I am very much of kind of that like vocal ass, or whatever else.
So
No
much
pun,
ass talk.
no
I
pun,
love this segment.
no pun intended.
No. Miranda's ass was very vocal. I'm just saying, caught
But
my attention.
It
Quite a
was
few
speaking
times.
to him.
Anyway, is the fact that this game has in fact been this way for so long, right? No, it wasn't like they came in and updated it, whatever else. It's that, it's been this way forever, and then they're remastering it, or remaking it, and they're like, oh, well, we've
It's
got
just a remaster. It's not a remake.
a remaster. Well, I don't know. I have to beg to differ at that point. If you're taking things out and changing things, then at that point it becomes a remake. It doesn't become a remaster. Like,
Not. I think in this situation, it's editing cutscenes more than it is. They don't change any other aspects of the game. Like the game still looks and plays exactly the same.
But the thing there is like we've all said, why do it now? And then also to like it. It's a very it's a censorship is a very dangerous road, right? If this
That kind of ties in with my theory.
it's a very dangerous thing when you're talking about censorship and being like, well, I don't care, or, this or that, or it's fine to change this one, or it's whatever else, because it's a slippery slope that goes down to this whole concept of like, okay, well, we have to you know protect everything, or if it may offend this person, we got to take it out, or if it offends this
Yeah.
person, we got to take this out.
Yeah.
so it's a very dangerous thing to do. And once you give a little bit, you now start to open that gate of giving a lot. And people are like, oh no, it's you can still be, you know, I don't want to say censored, but you can still have like things in place to protect people or whatever else, and it'd be okay. But the thing is that video games are in turn an artistic point of view. And we've talked about this before. It is an artistic project. And glitches, whatever, weird camera angles, fucking bugs. I understand it's a little bit different, but like altering something, and not necessarily in the Mass Effect sense, but altering something uh, that the original people designed, right, and put out there, or censoring it because you don't like it or you think it's offensive. Um, I don't agree with. I think that it's one of those things. If you don't support it, don't buy it. Don't whatever else. If it offends you, if you don't like it, don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Anyway, Nick, I know you were gonna say something. You wanted to
Yeah,
add.
I was just saying that that kind of ties in with my personal kind of I I wouldn't call it like a conspiracy theory, but my personal theory as to what happened. We had talked about this a little bit when you brought it up, Bill. But the one thing that I did remember when you brought this up, I was like, PlayStation and Sony have been really pushing for censorship on a lot of games recently. Devil May Cry 5 comes to mind right off the bat.
What did
They
they censor with
censored
DMC5 with the PS5 version?
they censored the PS4 version out the ass, dude. Like with there was a couple of scenes in there with the fucking mechanic chick that they put the stupid um
The
light
gun
shaft in
tattoos?
front of her. Yeah,
Light
they
shaft.
they censored that
Oh,
stuff.
the gotcha.
The
Yeah,
light
and
shaft, the
same thing
different
with
camera
same thing with
angles.
Lady, right? Whenever
Yep.
Lady's in the van after they
Mhm.
rescue her, she's in a towel.
Mhm. Yep. So they PlayStation and Sony have been pushing for a lot of that stuff. They've censored an anime, a couple of anime novel games, if I remember correctly, back in 2019, coming out that weren't even that racy, really. Like I remember one coming out where it was like the art on the game showed the chick like kneeling and like sitting on her heels, right? And it just barely showed like the bottom of her thigh, right? On every other fucking game case, it showed that, but on theirs they had it cut to like from like midriff up for some reason. It made no sense. And they've forced a couple of other games. I know they forced a couple of Sega games. Um, they had another anime game that was like Blade Arcus Rebellion that they cut a bunch of stuff out of. It's a very strange thing, and it's double sided extremely, especially with Sony. If this is the case, and what they're doing is they're having to censor this to be on a PlayStation market of some sort. Sony, like Last of Us 2 was fucked, man. Like there was some shit in there that like they didn't force Naughty Dog to censor, but they are forcing other games to censor even less, like the fucking
Of
scene
course, Last of Us too.
in The Last of Us 2. Like that was fucked, man.
Hmm. And even like Witcher and stuff too.
Yeah. There's just a lot of stuff that's my personal opinion. Like I said, I don't think that that's the reason why they did it. Could be, could not be. I don't know. I'm not, obviously not an insider, but it makes sense if that's the case because they would want to put this on the PlayStation market, but you never know.
That's at least some sort of a reason, because without that, like there still is like that, just like why does this need to be a thing?
It just doesn't make any sense because
Yeah,
like I said, I'm kind of down the same road where I don't really care if they censor it. It doesn't bother me all that much. But if you're gonna try and make, even if it's not a remake and it's just a remaster, if you're gonna be remastering a game, why change like any of the content? It doesn't
yeah.
make any sense.
And it is kind of scary for them to start censoring stuff, because it's like, if people might bring up, like, if you're gonna censor this, why don't you censor that kind of thing,
Well,
you
I mean,
know?
we're going
Yeah,
to.
and what I'm seeing in the chats also is this game has like full nude sex scenes
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah,
a bunch of other stuff. It's got gay romance options. It's got like the works on like every other
Sure,
thing. So it feels
sure.
I think what most people think is this feels like an unnecessary thing to be removing
hmm,
considering that all that other stuff exists and it is an M-rated game.
That's what I was about to say. It's an M-rated game though. Why censor it?
yeah,
Well, again, and here's, like it said, like I said earlier, and chat has said, it is a very slippery slope. This is something that if you give too much power in this to the wrong type of people, which the wrong type of people will be the ones that will grab a hold of this, right, and run with it, it you are going to see things where everything is going to be censored, right? If it even remotely affects anybody in any way, shape, or form, it's censored. And basically, we're going to get nothing more than Balloon TD Battle 6. Like that's what we're going to get for games, right? Which I did buy, by the way, on the Lunar sale.
You
It's $2.
actually, I thought you were joking.
No, no, I bought it. Why not? It's $2. It's a good like game to run in the background.
The biggest thing that I can say is like if indeed it is because of something to do with Sony and Sony's like you need to start censoring this because we can't have this going out to Eastern markets because Eastern markets is essentially why they do the censorship, right? Eastern markets are very big with the whole nudity inside of video game content. It's weird considering their fucking fascination with hentai, but we're not going to get into that right now. If
Yeah,
they're doing that and that's what they want to do for Western markets, then that's fine. Whatever. If you want to do that, don't push it. Just push it for the Sony. Just push it for the PlayStation marketplace. Why do you got to do it for the entire
yeah. I
fucking?
mean, they've seen it. We've done this. New Zealand and Australia has censorship in their games where things are completely changed and taken out for violence and things like that. Like they are very like that country. In fact, Manhunt wasn't even released in Australia because of the violence that they had in that game. You know what I mean? So it just and uh, I don't it's not only in video games where we're seeing this, right? This just happened in The Mandalorian, right? Where Gina, what's her name?
Yeah, she got fired.
She got fired, right? Disney fired her over some tweets that she tweeted out that people, had issues with or whatever else. And
Well,
honestly,
that was a more political basis rather than.
there's political and there was conspiracy stuff, but even still, like it
Still
was one of these.
censorship. Like
It's still right. It's
It
someone
is.
saying,
yeah,
okay,
But like, again, it's fucking Walt Disney.
yeah.
They're gonna
right.
bend to the
But
knee, to bend the knee to China.
what I'm saying is like they chose to make this decision and then like part of the people are like, oh my gosh, like this is 100% right, but then the other side of it is they're getting a lot of backlash because it's like, hey, hold on one second, like where is like the teaching moment? Like cancel culture, this type of stuff, censorship is not okay. It's not okay to be done. And there needs to be something put in place to be like, hey, like this is not an okay practice, like whatever else. And again, not going into Gina Carano's like whole thing. I don't know enough about all of that. I just know the two sides that are kind of at war right now. But it still is plays in this field of censorship and where is enough, right? So like you've got people that are going to go out there and say, well, I don't want to see I don't want to see homosexuality in my video games. Do we take that out? I don't want to see killing in my video games. Do we take that out? I don't want to see white people. I don't want to see black people. I don't want like where the fuck does the line stop to
Well,
go?
and
Okay,
then and again, if it is the Sony route, if that's the reason why they're doing it, and again, I'm not saying that's why they're doing it. I don't know why they're doing it. They might just want, like Bill said, they might just not want to associate that kind of thing with their new studio. Completely okay. I'm completely fine with that. If that's the case and that's what they want to do with it, it's
yeah,
their fucking game. It's their IP. They can do what they want with it, right? But the fact of the matter is if Sony is the reason for the censorship, it's such a double-edged sword on Sony considering the bullshit that they had
and
in Last of Us. Like they had sex scenes, they had nudity, they had violence, extreme violence, they had rape.
right. Well,
Well,
and
I mean, this game's gonna have, like I said, all the sex scenes and all that stuff. Every other aspect of the game, from what I'm seeing, is intact. I guess I
so
don't
so
know.
why do it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't make a lot of sense. The only thing that I've seen from the BioWare PR team is because they wanted to take some immersion breaking assets out of the game. No pun intended.
I don't
uh,
know. I personally think that's a cop out. Personally, that sounds like a cop out to me. But
we're never gonna hear the real reason, right?
No, we won't.
And the thing about it is no matter, we everybody can sit here and go, oh well, benefit. I don't know. Like Enigma said, benefit of the doubt. We've all said, well, benefit of the doubt. I'll be that one that says, fuck it. We're not. It's not benefit of the doubt unless it's either I'm gonna remove all of that shit because I don't want to be associated with it, right? If that's the case, like I don't want my studio to be associated with sex, whatever else. Then you don't re-release Mass Effect, or you completely change what Mass Effect is in a lot of ways,
Because
or
the romancing options throughout that trilogy is like a major aspect
oh,
yeah, it's
of
huge.
Yeah.
that trilogy.
it's insane. And it was one of
You
those.
put work from game 1 into game 3 into those characters.
And honestly too, like the big thing about it is like this was a game that pioneered this whole like it was one of the I don't know if it's first, but it was definitely one of
It
the
was
most
the first
high
romance game.
profile games that did this kind of thing where it put like homosexuality and sex scenes and romances in a way that was not GTA fucking hot coffee mod, right? Stuff like that. So I think that it's I don't know. I'm sorry,
I
but I can't agree with saying that and can't give them the benefit of the doubt and say this was just a thing where they didn't want to be associated with it. I think that there was pressure on certain sides and they didn't want they just buckled to the pressure and it's I don't think it's the right move to or whatever else like
I am kind of on your side though, Bill. I don't really care. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
affect
don't
Yeah.
me that
either.
much.
It does not affect my gameplay experience. I wasn't somebody that like left the camera to pan to
Oh yes,
those
you were,
shots. Like
Bill. We know that. We know. I see that blush.
but no, it doesn't. It's not gonna alter my overall gameplay experience
no
at
I,
I
all.
mean, I don't think it's gonna
It,
alter many people's. I think it's just
It won't.
something. Yeah, it's
it,
and
just
it is being blown out of proportion more than it definitely needs to be.
yeah.
But again, the subject of censorship in any amount whenever it's brought up is going to get this kind of a conversation, and I think it should have this kind of a conversation whether you want to be pervs or not. Like, censorship at the end of the day, if it's the person making the game and it's their conscious decision, like they want this, that's fine and I can respect that. But if it's due to any other outside pressure being forced upon them, like if it's just their vision that they want this aspect removed, I can respect that. It's your game. Do what the fuck you want with it. But if somebody is twisting your arm to do it, that's where lines start to get blurry.
Yeah.
Blurred lines.
we'll never know.
Nope.
So
You know you want it.
just while Enigma is serenading us, as a reminder to everybody in chat, we are coming up to the final segment, so prepare your questions.
I think we've
um
already had one question in your chat, Bill, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got the question ready.
Got it. But get your questions ready to open it up on things that we've talked about, preferably things that we've talked about, whether it be the new games or any of the news articles or Jeff Bezos or
Damn it! Now I got that song stuck in my head.
well, that's your own damn fault.
The
So
blurred lines.
you done? I'll give you it. I would play it for you, but we would need so
Nice.
uh, final topic tonight is the Final Fantasy 14 expansion. I don't know anything about it. I don't play Final Fantasy 14. It's not my cup of tea.
Good,
This
sir.
guy.
Yeah,
You, sh-
Enigma.
you should do it. It's like their last expansion was fucking amazing. Storm or not Stormblood. Shadowbringers is like I think that we covered it on the podcast when it came out. Not entirely
We
sure
did,
about
yeah.
that, but
We did.
We did.
I remember ranting and raving about it, and even to this day, it's one of the best expansions. It ranks right up there with like Wrath of the Lich King, some of the early World of Warcraft expansions and shit. But yeah, it's looking good. We don't know a whole ton about it. We know that we're getting two new classes. One of them we know of. It's going to be the Sage, which is a new healer, which is a little unique because we've never seen anything like the Sage in any of the Final Fantasy lore, as far as I know. It's like a healer that uses like these laser guns to like.
We've had a few like there's a gun mage in Final Fantasy
It's
X
not guns
too,
though.
but
They're like floating needles almost. They're like it's
oh
very
okay,
strange. You'll have to look at it, but as
It
far as
gotcha.
I
looked
know,
cool.
they do look pretty cool. They're more of a shield healer than an actual healer, which is unique because we only have really one other shield healer
I
in
know.
the
I
game.
know you're excited about the rumored class.
And then yeah, that's what I was going to get into. So the the cool part about Final Fantasy expansion announcements is that Yoshi P, when he comes out and gives the initial announcement, he'll announce the one that they're willing to put out there, right? But they'll usually save the secondary class for a later date, usually around the Final Fantasy Fest in I believe October sometime or some place around there. But he always does like a little hint, and usually it's by wearing like a costume or a stupid shirt or making jokes or something like that. last year he wore a shirt and changed it out for the Viera, the bunny girls. So we knew about the Rothgars, which were the cat people or the lion people, and then he wore a Playboy bunny type shirt, and everybody was like, "Fuck yeah, Viera, we're getting fucking," Everybody freaked out about it, right?
Getting bunny
Um,
bitches up in here.
big booty bunny bitches, man. This year he wore a shirt that featured a skeleton with a scythe,
So
which is
you're
very
thinking
interesting.
Necro?
They're thinking Necro, which is going to be very interesting because there is no Necros in Final Fantasy. Like there's
Nah.
never
Is
really
there
been.
anything close? I wouldn't
Not
know.
not even in the like the villain
Yeah,
like catalog. There's never been a Necro. The closest thing that you get is there's some like there are Necros, but they're
there's
never like
summoners.
major enemies.
Yeah,
They're like Final Fantasy 15 had a Necromancer mage type enemy, but it wasn't anything. It was just like a regular mob that summoned like
yeah,
a few little skellies. It's never been on like either side of the thing. The best we've ever got was like liches, but
yeah.
that's
The
really it.
interesting part about this one is it's not a caster; it's a melee DPS. So I don't know how they're going to work that in.
Melee DPS.
It's going to be a very interesting thing because we don't
Yeah.
have a ton of like summoners. If it is going to be a summoner, we have like the essential summoner, which is
Yeah.
it's normal for Final Fantasy,
So it's
and we
going to be a
have
melee DPS, well, necro type.
we don't
Something,
know. We
something,
don't know for sure. We have not had a confirmation of what it
something that
actually
might be related to undead or scythes.
Watch him be a baker. Or pastry maker.
Well, the first thought
all we know is that he had a shirt that had a skeleton and a scythe on it.
for me, the first
That's
thought for me was Guild Wars with the necro class, the Reaper
yeah.
spec. You know, they used scythes and it was a melee DPS.
Mhm.
Maybe like a
It's gonna
Death
be
Knight.
interesting, man.
Yeah,
But we already have a Death Knight.
yeah, already is a death.
We already have a Death Knight on Final Fantasy 14. We have the Dark Knight.
Do this, Bill.
I think we lost Bill.
Oh.
Okay.
Alright.
But yeah, no, it's very interesting. It's gonna be. I'm looking forward to seeing where we go because they've hinted at it a little bit on the expansion trailer.
Real
We're
quick, hold
going.
on, real quick. Oh fuck! I was gonna say this is your time to get a screen grab of Bill and do some weird shit with that. He's on a green screen, and the way he was standing was perfect. You can still do it. He
Oh,
throws it again. It's
oh
perfect.
no.
Guys, do your screen grabs. Go do all you want.
So
Um,
it's going to be very interesting. We've seen a few things. They released a teaser trailer which looked very fun. Featured the Sage in extreme detail. We've got Alpha Nod, which I fucking can't stand Alpha Nod. He's a little bitch boy, but he's gonna be the master class
oh, Bill is now
for
sin.
Sage. Bill is gone completely.
Oh, now it's me. I'm Bill. I'll be
And
Bill.
and we're going to the moon. We're gonna be like Bungie, and we're going to the moon.
Oh,
To the
cool. To the
moon.
moon.
Hey, can you turn your
Um,
camera on so I can be myself again?
I'm working on it.
There we
go.
go.
Something that, you know, some of you may be excited, some may not be, is that I did just install Final Fantasy 14
Oh,
online.
did you?
It is
Oh.
installed.
Hell yeah.
So
I've been he's been talking to me about it.
Yeah.
Him and Bun Buns
and
Pika
Pika and a
have
few
been
others,
talking
you
about
know,
getting back into it. The
or
good part
getting
about
into it
Final
for the first
Fantasy
time.
is that their trial, like their free trial,
It seems
is
pretty
like
good.
one of
Runs
the
all the way to
best.
Heaven's Sword,
It
right?
goes all the way to Heaven's Sword, all the way to level 60, man. It's
That's
like
a
one of the
lot of
best free
content.
trials in
I'm
a
down with that.
multiplayer online
And
RPG.
you were
around
talking
right now.
something about a preferred server.
Yeah, we might
Mm.
want to look at preferred servers because I know that you guys are gonna fucking hate going through that storyline, and
Mhm.
preferred servers are gonna make going through that storyline a little bit easier because
That way
they
you
boost
can
your
carry them.
experience.
And there was one question I had about that. If is that like, is that an official server? Is that a thing? Like
Yeah, it's
preferred
an official
servers?
server.
Okay.
Essentially, what boosted servers are servers that don't have a huge population, so they're trying to get people to go and make characters on those unpopulated servers.
Oh, I'm fine with that. If I'm just playing
By
with friends and
essentially
stuff.
by essentially giving you boosted experience, and it's a huge amount
Now,
of
is there
boosted
any way to
experience.
play like on other servers with your friends? Is there any like cross server
There's
play?
cross server, but there's not cross cluster. So there's two different types of things. There's a cluster, which is like your location, like your server location, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's servers, actual like servers. So if you're playing on a cluster, you can visit any server in that cluster. but you can't
Okay.
visit a separate cluster. So like I am on Siren. If you
Siren's
were
a
on,
cluster.
yes, Siren is a server.
Oh,
Aether is
server.
the cluster. So if you went and started on like a different cluster, you couldn't visit me on Siren.
What a way to make it as Asian as fucking possible and make it.
Gotcha.
It's lore, man. It's all based on Final Fantasy like
Mm-hmm.
characters. It's
It's
all lore based.
It's based
Yeah,
on
but
all. It's based on their background and,
I'm not, I'm
and
not, I'm not,
clusters.
I'm not knocking Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy's 11 system was their server system was better than that. I don't know. That just it seems overly complicated for what it used to be. But anyway, it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
matter.
mean it's not that complicated. You're on
I
a
mean,
cluster.
you're
You
having
can
a
visit the
I
servers
get
inside the
it.
cluster.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, but yeah, but you have a server, and then you have basically a server inside of a server
Well,
that you can move around.
prior to the whole visiting clusters, you couldn't visit other servers.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
were just
say at
locked to
least
the
you can
server.
visit other servers now, or well,
Yeah.
is a thing, I guess.
No, no, no. It's just it's an Asian way of doing things. Like I get it. Like it's a Square Enix's way of they've done this stuff before with other stuff. So
I
it's
don't know. I think it's a good improvement. I like having the fact that you can go to different servers and if your friend is playing on Fairy and you're on Siren, you can play with them. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
I don't know. It's a
Uh,
good game, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it if they keep up the quality as to what they gave us um in Shadowbringers. It'll be a fucking phenomenal expansion
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is it so? It's free all the way through.
all the
Like
way to Heaven's Sword.
it's not timed.
Nope, free all
So
the way to Heaven's Sword. As soon as you hit 60, then you got to pay for it. But
And then it's a buy but also a sub.
yeah,
it's
you gotta
no
purchase it.
11.99 a month.
Yeah, $12 for the base or like the basic bitch one that you only get one character, but like honestly, you don't need more than one character.
That's the one thing about the game that I do enjoy.
Yeah,
Someone that played Final Fantasy 11 a fucking lot, and I played Final Fantasy 14 before they, uh,
The Realm Reborn.
yeah, Realm Reborn. Um, you know, I love that class based system where you can basically just change and re-level your character and go through
Jobs are
and
the best.
the job system is so
it
good.
really attaches you to your character. Honestly, like that, like my Final Fantasy characters that I have had, are like one of the most attached characters that I've ever had in an MMO. Like
Also,
WoW, I could give a shit less about my alts in WoW.
alts are just nothing but money makers
Yeah,
and reputation
it's
grinds in WoW. The thing about Final Fantasy 2 is that their dungeons and their mechanics
Raids.
and raids are
Yeah.
some of the best that are out there. Next to WildStar, WildStar is hands down the best one ever.
yeah. You want to know the difference between WildStar and Final
Dude,
Fantasy?
get the fuck out of here, man.
I
Get
mean,
the
you don't
fuck out.
gotta rub it in, all right?
Like, look, if WildStar was still a thing, Scruffy, would you be playing WildStar?
Yes. You know what?
Thank
And if it weren't for WildStar, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, there you go,
Crazy as that.
I just got to give you shit about it every time.
bro. I know.
But yeah, no, it's good, man.
Video, I don't get to play WildStar.
Final Fantasy 14 has been one of the better, personally, MMOs that I've played in a long time. So
I will say off stream, I would like for you guys to pitch me on Final Fantasy 14 because I have a sour taste in my mouth for Final Fantasy 14 for things I don't want to get through and on the
You can play
podcast.
with me.
Um, dude,
You are always
we'll-
complaining that you're lonely
we'll
in the games
talk,
that you
no,
play.
no, no, no,
so-
no. We'll
I
talk
don't know,
about that off stream.
my
Ow.
biggest thing is just knowing the fact that you fucking can't stand storylines in most cases. I
No,
don't
no, no,
think
no.
you will ever make it.
It's not that I can't stand storylines. It's that you have to remember when I played Final Fantasy 14, right, was before all of this, right? And I think you played. Did you play with me, Enigma, when I was playing? When I was heavy into it, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think I met
No,
you prior. I
no.
didn't
So
meet you prior to
I
the
played
Realm
Final
Reborn.
Fantasy 14 through first expansion, you know, and it was, you know, before all of this, you know, where they made it faster to get through. And everybody that has played Final Fantasy 14 really can say like that. It was a fucking slog. It was a fucking.
It's still a slot.
It is, man, dude. Like,
Yep.
and it's not bad, right? I'm not saying it's bad.
Oh, it's
What I'm-
bad. No, it's
just-
terrible. I hate it.
it's like fucking Christ, dude. That is like trying to plow. You know, it's like anybody ever watched Shawshank Redemption? You ever watch Shawshank Redemption? Anybody here? You
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
see Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. You know where he's trying to spoiler alert for a movie that's fucking 20 years old, where he's trying to crawl through the fucking sludge of shit, like a mile of shit to
Yeah.
get to the end to be free. That's what this is like. Like that's what it was like. And if it's better now, right?
That's why I'm recommending going on a preferred world, is
Yeah.
because it's not better. Like, it's still a slog. I will tell that to you straight to your face. You're gonna fucking hate yourself.
I mean, I don't mind a slog as long as it's a fun slog.
No, it's not. It's not a fun slog at all.
I'm waiting through candy and stuff, but if I'm having to wade through piles of shit, I don't.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's like candy infested shit. It's pretty bad. It's not terrible, but you see the little
Cadbury egg
mints.
goes crap.
Yeah.
I
It's
gotta-
pretty
Candy
bad.
corn in the poo.
But with the preferred server and the experience boost that you get from it, you can out level things, and it goes by a little bit quicker. Because the worst part about prior to the preferred worlds and them getting rid of some of the fluff that you didn't really need was, like, you would get to a certain point where you were level 12 and your next dungeon to progress the story wasn't until 15, right?
Yeah.
But the only way to get to 15 is to do quest. The best way to get experience was to do quest line. Well, you can't do quest line when it's locked behind a fucking dungeon, so you essentially had 4 or 5 levels to get through to get to your next fucking
Yeah,
storyline.
and maybe older Sin, now that I've grown old, might enjoy that more because I'm finding myself enjoying more single player content games and things like that. Maybe I'll enjoy it. Maybe I don't know. But
The preferred worlds make it a lot easier. I'm gonna tell that to you straight to your face. Like, joining my server, Siren, you guys would hate
I think
it.
I'm on your server. I'm pretty sure my character
I'm
is
sure
on
I'm
your
sure I'm sure you are, but Siren is no longer a preferred world, so we wouldn't want to go because you're gonna hate yourself. Not having
Oh,
the experience boost.
so servers become unpreferred
Yeah,
or whatever once
get
they
enough,
reach
once they reach a certain threshold
player
of
base.
people on it,
Yeah.
they take it off of the
and
preferred world.
I will give it that Final Fantasy, out of all of the other MMOs that are out have ever come out, has a shit ton of stuff to do.
Yeah,
Holy fuck!
I
It is
have
a lot of
well over 2,000 hours in
Do
the
they
game.
have
I'm not even
add-ons for
done.
that game? I'm not the type to
No
really
add-ons.
get.
No.
No. Okay. I was gonna say I'm going into
Now-
an MMO. I might be inclined to
They
get
do have
add-ons.
add-ons.
They're
Not supported.
at all. And in fact,
Um,
they're bannable if I'm not
They're
mistaken.
bannable.
They're gray. Yeah, they're like a gray area.
Gotcha.
Like, as long as, like, the only add-ons that I know of that will really get you in trouble is they have a DPS meter that if you are caught kind of like fucking with people and being like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Why isn't your DPS up? They will ban you for that.
Really? That's interesting.
Because they essentially, what Yoshi P and the guys over there want is they want an MMO that's accessible to everybody, and they want people to focus on the game, not the DPS meters.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Well, cool.
Okay.
Well, we are at that time, guys, where we are going to open it up for questions.
I got a question.
Sure, shoot.
You want to see a picture of me and a seal?
Why not?
You and Seal, like the singer?
Me and a
Hell
seal.
yeah, bro.
You
That
see
is
that?
adorable.
Isn't that great?
What a chill little dude.
He's great. He's a great little guy. Yeah,
What was his name,
buddy.
buddy?
Yeah, I
Buddy the
actually.
seal.
Yeah, this buddy.
Is this
What
a
a
train
champ.
seal, or is this somebody a seal you
Nope.
just met?
Just met him on a rock.
He's just chilling
Did he
there,
give
man.
you? Did he give you any words of wisdom as he dove
Yeah,
back into the sea?
yeah. It was, "Arr, arr, 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 arr."
Yep, exactly. Sin, actually, that was perfect.
It's pretty much exact spot on.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool though. That's
Thanks.
pretty
Yeah,
badass.
He's a
Did you
good
just
guy.
happen to have a fucking picture of you and that seal just sitting on your desk?
No, it's a magnet. My mom made it for me.
Oh, nice.
Hell
Nature.
yeah.
Nature, right,
Pretty
boys?
dope.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Outside world.
That's why you got to watch the podcast on our YouTube channel so you can see premium content like that.
Yes. Okay, so opening up to questions, real questions now, not the questions about seals.
Yeah.
Um,
That was a real
For
question.
anybody that has not
Thanks.
played, I think all three of you have played Valheim currently.
No.
yes.
just me.
No,
and
Scruff,
just me and-
Scruff, do
yeah,
you
just
do
me
you
and
plan on picking it up at any time?
So I seen this question, I read it, and I do plan on playing it, but just not currently because surprisingly there's a lot on my plate right now that I'm going through. I don't really have room for another game to play. So
As he installs Final Fantasy 14.
that's where
What
it's
the
coming
fuck?
from. Like I've literally maxed out. Like I am playing Overwatch, Minecraft, Final Fantasy, Overcooked, Spellbreak, Lost Savage Lands. I've been playing like everything right now, so I just don't have enough room, and I don't need to spend the money if I'm not gonna play it right now. So
I gotcha.
it looks good though.
And Enigma, you've got 60 plus hours in, so you're full balls deep into it. Sinan, how much more are you planning on sinking into this one? And Enigma, I'll counter since you have put a lot of time. Do you see any grinding like to a halt on your enjoyment of it? Do you see that your
Zero loop.
progression's kind of limiting, or yeah, do you think it's getting like, do you see like the wall in sight where the fun might drop?
Do you want me to answer first, or do you want to go first?
You can go ahead.
Um, I'm halfway through the game. I've only taken on two of the five bosses, I think, five or six. I can't remember which. So I've done the first one, Ichthyr, and I've done the second one, the Elder. I'm on the Blob boss. I can't remember his name, and I am nowhere near ready to take him on.
Gotcha.
And I'm 60 hours in. Granted, I've been spending a lot of time building houses and
Yeah,
doing
not
base building.
necessarily character progression stuff, but
Yeah.
progression in a different way.
But you're still enjoying
So
all that.
I'm still enjoying it. I definitely can feel the kind of like the urge to finish it. I'm like, fuck, okay, I've got 60 hours in the game. I need to go and finish these fucking bosses, right?
Yeah, but with a game like this, I
But
honestly can't see any reason to rush it. It's not meant to
well,
be a rush through
the
experience.
thing is that like I'm enjoying myself just fucking sailing around the world. Like
Yeah.
literally just fucking being a Viking and being going and sailing around the world and finding new lanes. It's fun.
You
I
know, and
enjoy
that's
it.
a good thing that you're not rushing through it because, like what Bill said, it's a good game not to. But also, like
Yeah.
for the people who probably have, like I'm sure you could rush through it and get all the content done within
Oh,
like 30 hours or
there's
so, and
yeah,
then
no,
you're probably
there's
left with
people
not much content. You know?
yeah, no, there's people that finished it within like the first 10 or 15 hours.
Yeah. So
Like it's not a long game if you rush it.
right, it's still early access, and there's still more content to come. So if you rush through all of it now, you're gonna be left with nothing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they do have their roadmap, which I think the next one that they're releasing, like I said, is kind of like something Cult of the Wolf or something like that,
Yeah.
and that's bringing in, I believe, and they haven't given us too much
Ooh,
information.
Fenrir, could it be?
Yeah, well, that's what people are thinking is
Yeah,
there it's going to be either Fenrir or like Fenrir's children of some sort.
that'd be sweet.
And I know that they've said that they want to bring in more building options,
If they brought in like a
more
werewolf, like,
yeah.
well, it's not Viking though.
If it's anything to do with Fenrir, it'll just be a big
Yeah, but I'm,
wolf
I'm talking about
essentially.
like the ability to transform and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Oh yeah.
it'll just be a giant wolf essentially.
Yeah.
But they've said that they want to bring in more base building options. Right now, there's only two. You've got wood and you've got stone. They want to bring in more weapons, more armor, stuff like that. So as long as it and it kind of drives back into that point that we always have with these early access games like Remnant and shit. As long as they fucking push out content at a reasonable pace, I'll continue playing it.
I feel like
Yeah,
in
man.
this kind of game they need to kind of trickle it too.
Yeah. So, slightly, but
Yeah,
again, it's one of those things where it's like if you want to, you can complete the game in like under 15 hours.
they might need to like
So
trickle like the bug fixes and all that, but then push out
yeah,
big content patches.
honestly, it
Yeah.
doesn't have that many bugs.
Or
Like
well,
it really doesn't.
quality of life. I mean,
Quality of
that
life for
sort of
sure.
stuff. Yeah,
That stuff they do need to push, but like yeah, bug wise, like this has
that's good
been
though.
one of the least buggy games, like early access games that I've early access survival games that I've touched in a long time.
Yeah.
So
And Sinan, up to you.
Yeah. So I think that it's got it's fun. Like I said, it's one of those things where, like in 7 Days to Die, I enjoy getting in there and playing that game a lot. But the thing that keeps me from playing it is the fact that I'm progressing the world and progressing the 7 days, which in turn causes issues where it will, it makes the game harder and people are missing out, and so that kind of deters that. This doesn't necessarily have that element of it. I think for me, it's more about the discoverability about what am I going to find, and what am I going to experience, that kind of makes it, um, you know, exciting to play. Um, I am probably that person where I will maybe dump, maybe a couple more hours into it, or like if Enigma is like, hey, let's jump on some Valheim, or do you want to play this? Like, yeah, that's great. Like if I'm going to go to a survival survival game, this would probably be it versus something like even 7 Days to Die. But I will probably wait until the game is got more stuff kind of out there because I'm also that type of person where like I don't play. I downloaded the Forest. Forest is like reviewed by, in fact, Enigma as like one of the best games he's played, and I downloaded it, played about 45 minutes of it to maybe I don't even know if I made it an hour, and it was like, nope, I'm not. I don't want to do this because it has a storyline, and like I don't
Yeah,
want to. I don't. And
this
I look, I
this
get
is
it.
the one that kicks me, man.
I I it has a storyline. And in these types of games, I don't like being told where to go and what to do. I want to just be dropped in and be like, "Hey, survive in this
But
world."
it doesn't tell you where to go or what to
No, no,
do. It just has the storyline in the
what I'm
Yeah,
background.
saying is,
it
look,
is kind of optional.
I know it's optional, but what I'm saying is, it still is a game where it's like you have ultimately at the end of the line, there is still a through point saying this is objectively where you want to go and do. Not saying it's saying you have to go do that, not saying that it's encouraging you to go do that, but still that through point of like, this is what you need to do. This game has it, but for whatever reason, it's still different because it feels like you're telling me that the driving force is I need to go kill all these mobs and whatever. It still deters me some because I'm like, okay, there's an end, right? There's an end, obviously, to it. Once I kill these
The
beasts,
end is nigh.
So I don't know. It's
Oh,
we'll see. I think it's fun.
I don't get that, man.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's fine. I don't get why
You
you
got
like EO.
you got some mental issues, man.
Okay. Well, I do have a mental issue. It's called Clevin syndrome, asshole. So,
Oh no.
um, anyway, I'm gonna contact BioWare. They need to cancel you, please. But in any case, yeah, I think I think it has some fun moments. It's enjoyable. It's worth the $17, or the $20 that it is. It's 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
No, yeah. Very cool.
Um,
Also, favorite flavor Pringles, go.
Sour cream and onion.
None.
Before you went vegan.
I hate Pringles. I don't like
You hate
Pringles.
Pringles? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite chip brand then?
Favorite brand of chips?
Chip?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Pop. I like white cheddar popcorn
White cheddar popcorn?
and
Works. Scruffy.
kettle cooked salt and vinegar chips.
Delicious.
Been
Scruffy.
been a
Pringles,
minute.
go.
Been a minute, but I'll probably say barbecue. Just the barbecue.
Barbecue pretty good.
I was a
Yeah,
big fan of the limited edition pizza ones that they had for a while.
pizza
Those
ones were
ones
good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a certain barbecue one. It's the purple can. Is that wasn't just
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
it
I
was
think
like
it's
a honey barbecue? Yeah.
Yeah, honey barbecue.
That was a good one.
The problem I
Yeah,
have with
yeah.
Pringles is the fact of what they are. They're not, because they don't have grease, because they don't have like that oily. They come out fucking dry, and I feel like their flavors are fucking dry.
I like to get like 3 or 4 of them and like eat them all in
Hell
one bite and then make like a little Pringle patty and then dry it out under a heat lamp and then re-eat it later.
What
Do
the
What
fuck?
the fuck?
Do you do the
What
duck
advanced
bill?
Pringle shit is this?
Do you do the duck bill where you get two
I
of
don't do
them
the
and you
duck
put
bill,
Oh
no.
yeah, the duck bill's pretty
Yeah,
good.
you're
That
air
was a
frying your
classic.
Pringles. You're making them even more dry. What is it? Just dust.
The
at
duck
that
bill
point.
was a classic for me in elementary school at the lunch tables.
Hell yeah, bro.
I know people do make like combos where they take like the pizza one, then they'll take the burger one, they'll take
Yeah.
this one. Like,
Wasn't that what the Rick and Morty commercial was like? Is
Hell yeah.
oh
I think
yeah,
so.
Rick, I can totally take these honey barbecues and I'll put them with my jalapeno and make a spicy sweet treat. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
That's
That's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We need to do like an advertisement with you being Morty and be
Yeah.
like, oh God, Rick, you got to tune into the pre-patch podcast.
Oh geez, Rick, I don't know if you like video games, but man, these guys really have it going on. Like they really know their stuff, man. Like I would give my bottom dollar that these guys know what you would like, Rick, and you know everything. So yeah, listen to them nightly,
And then
every
you just
2
hear,
weeks
and
on
then
Thursdays.
you
Go.
just hear from the back, oh, I'm a pickle, Rick Morty.
All right. Well, on that note, bye guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Take it easy. Thanks for being here.
Have a good one, everybody.
Later.
Blurred lines.
Shut up, we're ending.